what's going to happen is Medi's going to find her body.
Medi's gonna find Medi's body?
Yep.
Ooh, that would be cool. Hey guys, how's it going?
See, now I gotta fix Jin. Give me 1 sec.
Oh, here we go. He's scaling him up. It's great because as I look off to the side, it's actually right. What's up, man? Well, you're out of frame, but hey, there he is.
It's kind of creepy the way he's sitting there.
It's great.
Why, with the microphones hanging off my gut?
Actually, what's even...
No, it's crazy because it works, because like, when a lot of people think about how streaming has come along just in general, right? Oh my God! It's
there we go. Zooming in there.
You should wait.
If you
put
actually
your head
green
down.
Screen,
make your head down like you're going down on Chaz.
Oh God. This channel is rated MA.
Yes,
Delicious.
We will be without
Medi. It tastes just like a cannoli.
Medi is absent today. She had decided that in her head that saying the Van Gogh experience meant all the other things she wanted to do for the weekend. And she assumed she told us about a birthday today. But yeah, so she has a birthday today. She's doing something else, and she has decided not to join us today. So hopefully she'll come back in a week. Don't know. We'll find out.
Boys' night.
Yeah, it's boys' night. And
beer? I'll be right back.
yeah, beers, cheap beers,
Cheers.
cheers, beers. We also installed a couple new microphones, so we'll be doing some Twitch checks at the same time to see how they're sounding. If you're listening in, let us know how we sound. Let us know if you can hear the music okay. Gatharn is on the new mic. And the only reason we're wearing headsets for this session is that Vince is remote in Long Beach. So if we want to be able to hear him, we have to wear mics or headsets to be able to hear him. And normally Medi would be broadcasting from LA. And I'm experimenting with this idea of just dropping in their StreamYard cutout directly into our studio. So me, Gatharn, and Omni are live in the studio.
I mean, Jin's live too. He's
alive. He's just remote.
He's undead. He's unlive?
He's alive.
Oh, alive.
Alive. He's alive in Long Beach.
Why isn't there an unlive?
And the whole idea is to help us kind of practice, because from 5 to 8 o'clock Sunday nights is our fully live studio game with our 5 new players, taking place in our new world that we've built, the world of Kalisha, on the continent of Luna Verde. And the name of the campaign is An Absent Throne. And no humans need apply for the most part. It is a humanoid-driven world. It is also a steampunk organic world as well. So Debtors Gambit is our piratiness game that is the adventures of... Well, basically adventures within the Menagerie Coast. And it's 40 years before season 1 and 2. Wait, 20 years before season 1, 40 years before... No, actually 40 years before season 1, I think, because it's the founding of Darktow. And I believe season 2 of Critical Role, it is 40 years after the founding of Darktow. So basically, we are doing the Revels, the founding of the Revels and the beginning of the high period of piracy with Darktow and the Revels as well. And this is about its origin story, where they came from, where they started. And just as a quick reminder, Cesare, talk to us about what you've got going on, and also talk to us about your character. It's been a while since we've recapped Old Omni and what's going on with them.
Oh, well, stuff that's going on. I spent the weekend in my bus, my mobile production studio, which was great.
At the
had a
ranch?
gig in San Diego, went out at the ranch up in
Homeland.
I was like, what's the name of this town? Homeland. It was a lot of fun. It's been great. That's a fun ongoing project that continues to drive me crazy as more and more stuff needs to be fixed with it as I go through this design and build out process myself. I have a couple of different creative ventures. One of them is my media production company called EMP Studios. And another is a podcast video production called the General Adventuring Company. We release episodes on Tuesdays. And it's a D&D 5e game, Homebrew World. I play a Dragonborn Ranger Rogue named Jasper Yondi. He's very fun. He's essentially Batman mixed with the physicality of a 6'6" to 7 foot Mushu, charcoal gray. Yeah, it's a good time.
Did you say Mushu? Are you
Yeah.
allowed to use that word anymore? Nope.
In referencing a character of a D-land creation, I don't think there are lawsuits that can be utilized when describing something.
Oh no.
Racist. Racist.
I was thinking of pork.
Oh, I was thinking it just sounded super sexy the way he said it, and it disturbed me. So
Oh, no.
these are all unique reasons why he's been
The little
why
mini
he's been
dragon,
struck.
voiced by Eddie Murphy. That's kind of the physicality of my Dragonborn.
Mushu pork.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking of mochi ice cream. All these things are triggering.
But yeah, some of the stuff are good. Good times.
Cesar's like, fuck all of you.
We just got a new editor on the team, so we'll be able to start cranking out some episodes again. It'll be good. Looking forward to it.
And tell us about Omni. It's been a while.
Oh, Omni is a changeling, and they are a paladin sorcerer multi-class because it seemed like it would be fun. We were talking about doing a pirate thing, so I was like, what are the different options for all of the sea, storm, magic type stuff? Because I don't normally play casters. I've played a monk, a rogue. The Ranger Rogue is a little bit of a caster, but he was even nerfed by not having magic until recently. So it's challenging because paladins are dope for all their physical stuff that they could do with all of the divining and the smiting, and the sorcerers are fun and crazy. And
Very
you
true.
know, depending on how weird we get with the storyline, maybe we'll do a tiny little dip into Warlock just for flavor. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But they are kind of a bit of everything. They really well, I can't say they enjoy, but they utilize their physicality and their capabilities sparingly in their changing form. But they've been first mate on a ship and now are captain, which is insane. And after last week's episode, they are the only captain that's around and is kind of in charge.
Because the Revels hasn't concluded yet.
The Revels haven't concluded.
Yeah,
but we rang the bells, we lit the fires to
Yeah.
get everybody to scatter because we found out some really, really terrifying news that there's an armada just waiting out into the sea. They're trying to kill us all, and yeah, a lot of responsibility just fell on Omni's shoulders, and they're trying to step up to it, but they also were recently re-enslaved, which caused a lot of triggered trauma to pop up. So whether or not they actually are able to focus and make good decisions, not only for themselves but for their crew, and now they have this responsibility of pretty much everybody at the Revels, trying to get everyone out safe. High pressure. We're gonna see how this goes for them.
Gatharn launching rockets these days. Tell us about Gatharn.
Yeah, because you don't need to know about rockets.
They go up, they go boom.
Everything
Gatharn
that
is
you-
launching rockets these days.
Yeah.
That's great.
They go up, they go boom. They go up, they go boom.
Just look up news, SpaceX. That's everything that I know.
In fact, I think I know more than you do.
Yeah, you do.
Because I like to follow the whole Starship series. So I'm following I've been following Starship 7 through, they're up to 21 right now. And then, the whole BN1 through BN5 system, the booster rocket system, the the new catchment system that they're going to use. So this is how crazy engineering has got. They're going to catch it out of the air. The rocket's going to come back, hover near the tower.
Giant baseball glove.
No, they're going to catch it with giant chopsticks.
Yep.
Oh,
And
even
they've already built it.
Amazing.
They're already testing it. It's
what
crazy.
they used to do is when it would land, you ran out
Yeah.
and pinned it. With the rocket still fucking hot.
Yeah.
So they developed a robot to do that now.
Hey, we know you
Just
just
imagine the balls you have to have. He's like,
We
okay,
know
here's
you
a
just
rocket,
came
let's
through
run in
the
there, pray it doesn't
atmosphere.
explode.
Well, think
got
how
it.
amazing,
good.
like, just, standard expectation with Crew 3.
Yeah.
Like, there were still like a couple 100,000 people watching Crew 3, and the post views are really cool, so people are still into it. But Crew 3, like, the physical people in those crewed station, like those crewed missions, are the redundancy. See, in the old days, the computer system was the redundancy. Everything relied on the pilots and the crew.
Right.
Now it's opposite. The technology's
Automated.
gotten to the point to where when you're watching Crew 3 and they're doing all this stuff, they're just testing their redundancy. They could get to this. That stupid thing can make it to the ship, or make it to the international station without them. They don't need to be in the ship.
I mean, they're basically in there to turn it off and on again, just
Yeah.
in case they need to reset the system.
Like, yeah.
But yeah, another fun fact, you see it in the Hollywood movies, Mission Control's the one that does everything. No, that's all on the actual rocket now. They release all that authority to the rocket like hours before launch.
That's funny.
So if any of the crew's like, something's wrong, we're aborting.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so for Gatharn, I'm a Gnorc named Gatharn.
He likes geese.
It's GIF, not GIF.
It is GIF, not GIF. I agree. GIF is a peanut butter.
Wait. Crunchy or smooth?
Smooth.
Yeah,
Crunchy tears up the bread.
tears it
Yeah,
up.
and it's infectious. Anyways, go ahead. You think crunchy's infectious?
I am a half gnome, half orc barbarian whose biggest fear is responsibility.
Not too far from Brandon. So
I
whenever
see
I talk about
responsibility
play a
and I
character,
run.
not yourself, well, Brandon
I'm
gets a bit of a
almost the
slide.
literal opposite of Omni, where they're
So true.
charismatic, not so much. Where they assume responsibility.
Hey,
Not
Chaz,
so
don't
much.
forget we have all the mics on too. So
Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna
Freaking
say,
these
friggin-
bitches.
I know this one's on, that one's on, because whenever I even move,
Way cleaner.
but once again, we were testing with all the mics on. So
Yeah, no. Forget that. We don't care anymore. So I have a new pencil mic.
Yep.
Brandon has one.
I have
Jason is
mine.
using the mic that we used for him last
That's
week.
Yep.
And then the other ones are these omnidirectional.
And we have
lav
3 more
mics.
that we're gonna add. So
Yeah.
we're testing. Once we have the final test, it's 6 new chords, 3 new mics. Get rid of the omnidirectionals, and we'll have the whole thing baked. And assuming, no TPKs or.
we can't get rid of
We'll
the
get everything
omnidirectional,
dialed
they're
in really
captain.
perfect, and then the game will end because we.
Well,
all
Omni's more of an Omni indirect. Let's be honest.
That's true.
And then, yeah, the biggest thing so far is Gatharn is the last reigning champion of the Revels.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
You
actually
just,
kind of accurate because you beat the Minotaur. You beat
And there
Brutus.
was no other fights after that because,
Yeah,
well,
you beat Brutus.
we're being attacked.
Well, it hasn't quite started yet.
The freaking left side of the freaking
Well,
island is
but
on fire.
It's on fire, but you never heard any explosions. Keep that in mind.
This guy acting like it's not related, getting our hopes up. Okay.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You guys make more assumptions than you do intelligence checks. So I'm just saying. Hey Vince, talk to us about Jin. Nighttime gin, daytime gin. And I think we're experiencing nighttime gin right now.
I mean, I'll field questions from my fellow cast. Anything?
What
Anything?
is Jin's preferred first date activity? Asking for a friend.
Gin?
Yeah, he's asking for the hawk.
Oh. All right. Morning gin or PM
Both.
gin? All right. AM gin. Probably a nice day at the theme park. Any
Nice
theme
day
park?
at the theme
I like
park.
it.
There we go.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then PM gin. Probably an intimate dinner. Private booth. Good bottle of wine.
Damn.
Oh, that's
A
sexy.
little empathy.
Oh,
super
hey.
sexy. Wait, a
Because
little
they
empathy, but
have
you
no
definitely
empathy.
built a character that is not like Vince at all.
Yeah. Man.
Roll your deck save for cleaning.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
man, that was
spoken
so
in
close.
confidence.
I'm so glad I didn't have beer going up into my
God damn
nose
it.
right now. That would have burned.
God do it.
Where is the beer?
I put it in the fridge.
Right here, bro. Here, take mine. Take it.
Take
Take
it. Take it. Take it. Oops.
Nothing.
The only thing I don't like about running my music through the tablet is when you're scrolling and you accidentally hit a changeover.
Accident.
It happens.
There we go.
Anytime I look at my screen, it looks like I'm staring at you, Vince. I'm not mad at it.
That is right. It's crazy. I love it.
Stare at me, baby.
So, just a quick recap on our schedule. Our schedule is in the process of changing. Our Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday games are still solid. Thursday is moving to once a month, which is our one shot. I'll be doing something else with that. There's a good chance we'll be bringing you a Star Wars RPG on Thursdays. And I get to play in it. I will not be running it. Friday, Age of Arcanum is wrapping up next Friday. We'll be wrapping up that campaign prematurely because post-COVID activities have changed people's work schedules and other activity. We will be holding that time slot in reserve for something we call Storytellers Chat. That is where I'm going to be reaching out to players, artists, other DMs, GMs, storytellers, and getting those folks to just hang out, chat, drink beers, and just be overall just kind of like a chill session. Saturday, starting next Saturday, is episode 1 of The Graying Lands, which is one of my private tables that has agreed to go to Twitch. And we will be bringing you another Wildmont adventure. This is all, however, taking place post Season 2, and it will be taking place in an area called The Graying Lands. Sunday is Debtors Gambit from 1 to 4. And then an Absent Throne from 5 to 8. Now, Monday, Faerun Reborn, we believe, will be wrapping up by January. That will then turn into a live studio campaign eventually. Tuesday, Denizens and Their Masters might remain online for another year. That seems to be really just kind of continuing on and going. We have Wednesday, The Descendants, and so far they are going to continue to be online as well. However, our goal is for Friday by January, end of January, a live studio game. And then obviously our Sunday studio game, and eventually Monday becoming a studio game. So we're working on schedule changes, getting ready for the 2022. And I'm really enjoying when I pop up from a daily schedule to whenever I'm building and creating. I will continue to be building out the new world of Kalisha and work on finishing up the continent of Luna Verde and begin to add new continents over time, as that's where our live studio game will be on Sunday nights from 5 to 8. So a lot going on. The About section's going to be updated. There's a lot more stuff I want to put there for our fellow creators. I really want to get going on helping promote artists and other DMs and GMs and really kind of help other communities kind of get in touch with each other. And One of the things that we do at TTRPG Academy, if you join our Discord, there's a bunch of things we actually do in our Discord. It's a lot of fun. We probably hold a record on the number of fucking D&D memes. I think that channel gets like 100 memes a day. When I was looking at the backlog of the memes, it was just insane. So yeah, if you join our Discord, there's a couple things you get with that. And our Discord's free. It's not, if anything, the only thing we could really use is, give us a follow, give us a sub, use your Prime. Those are all the things that pays the basic bills. I do a lot of pay-to-play tables, which is how I earn my living. But if any help you can give us to keep this TTRPG Academy thing going is through the follows and the subs, because that's the algorithm world that we live in, and that's just the way it is. We curate all of our episodes both in podcast and YouTube. YouTube lags behind the furthest. Podcast is usually anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks behind the live session. Obviously, we maintain a 4-week library in the post views, so if you want to watch us, like I watch a lot of my fellow creators after their shows because I just don't have enough time to sit and watch them live all the time, but I do like to go back and actually watch and see what they got going on. So, so yeah, we got a lot of update. But joining the Discord gets you access to the monthly giveaways. It gives you access to all of the advice and help options that we have because we are a teach, learn, and play. The teach part is reaching out to anybody on Discord. The learn part is jumping in and watching, and some games are on Twitch, some are not. Some are on Discord, and just listening to how other folks are playing so that you can learn. The world building sessions, the advice sessions, all the little things that we've got going on. The play part is if you don't want the hassle of administratively setting up your own game, reach out to me on our Discord. I will give you your own channel, your own category, text channel, audio channel, because we have Avre, we have the event bot, and we have the me bot on our Discord. I do not shame your access and I do not shame your participation. I don't use leveling. If leveling up is fun, play a PC game or a D&D game or another game that levels you up. I appreciate my lurkers and I love my lurkers. I'm a lurker. I like to go to Discords and I like to just read what people are chatting about or read about what's going on or listen in. I don't always chat. So we keep a very nice kind of clean Discord of, storytellers, players, and, we don't do a whole lot of fancy stuff on the Discord. We're really trying to just get groups together, get players together with storytellers, get games going, and whether it's, my youngest son is getting interested in Warhammer 40K. So we're probably going on occasion to bring you a 40K game where me and my son will have the battle cam out, we'll have the studio cams on, and we'll be at the table playing a game of 40K because you know what? It's fun. That's our focus, playing games. It's good for your mental health. It's important. So that is all of it. We lingered a bit because it's rare that we get to sit across from each other and chat and banter.
I was texting Shannon right now.
Yeah.
She's like, Medi's terrible at diplomacy, but if you need an investigator, roll away. I pulled up her character sheet in case there are any times.
Is that what Shannon told you?
At all. Yeah.
Yeah. We're Spears.
Oh,
Spears.
Spears?
I'm assuming you grabbed 3 for a reason.
Me?
You
Yeah,
fucker.
Come on. Have you not?
You
been at a table
fucker.
with Brandon before?
She'll
Come on.
fucker.
Cheers, motherfuckers.
Cheers, motherfuckers. What are you drinking? A nice blonde or what do you got there, Vince?
A mango wheat ale.
Mango
I
wheat?
think I've had one of those.
Is that Hawaiian?
Don't.
brand?
Isn't that called fruit punch?
No, mango cart from Golden Road Brewing. You can go
Golden?
to the
I have had
brewery
that
in
one.
Anaheim.
Nice.
So I
They got
think the
decent
other
food.
thing I really like to watch is that there's a great channel, a real fun channel that when they're on and I have a chance to watch them, it's called Hops and Brews. And they talk games while they're drinking brews for like 2-3 hours. And sometimes people get on there banging liquor.
Oh,
And by
man.
the end of their show, it's
Slosh.
fucking hysterical. It's so cool.
Slosh.
But they truly, they taste a lot of craft beer and they talk about it and the quality of it. And they sit around and jam and have a good time talking about it. So if you're out there and you're not a drinker, I get it. I totally understand. But you know what? It's Sunday. We're going to have an interesting kind of session today because we're missing Medi. But I've got 2 of my players in the studio. One of these days, Vince will make the drive out to hang out with us and be in the studio as well.
Show.
The schedule is going to get chaotic. We're coming up on the holidays. So one thing I noticed is that both Christmas and New Year's are on a Saturday. Needless to say, that's probably going to be a weekend we skip back to
No,
back.
that's the only week that I'm available to ride out there. So
Hey, Vince,
Because
that's
there's
for
no
you,
work
buddy.
the next day.
That's for you, buddy.
Yeah, he
That's
doesn't
it.
have he doesn't have work the following day.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's very accurate. But yeah, so the schedule is going to be kind of fluid for the next couple months as we get through the holidays and then start our 2022 schedule. So if you're hanging out there and listening in and we're your ASMR for your chore Sunday, please, we really appreciate that. Give us those follows. Yeah, we'll just sit here for the next 2 hours and roll dice. Because
Sounds good.
the
huh?
sound of bones on tabletop. The sound
or
of
in,
bones.
or in my case, metal damage.
Yeah. Which is why our
Table
game
dentures.
table, I know you can't see all of it from all the camera positions,
You
but
see a tiny little bit.
yeah,
right here.
the table is actually a butcher block table that I put together. I went to Lowe's, bought the butcher block surface, and then I ordered in the heavy 50-pound rated leggings, the legs for it, or 100-pound ratings for the legs. And then we have this really cool, setup. But, it's funny. We've gone through so many iterations of this space.
That's how it goes.
Because, at one point the cameras were all attached to the table, and as soon as you nudge
It
the
was
table, it's like 8.0 earthquake for everybody.
ruined.
So then we built this really cool beam to hang all the cameras. And then eventually we built a beam today to hang the microphones. And it's a lot of fun. I have learned so much from Cesare, who plays Omni. I've learned so much from this guy over here. His patience and his natural practice of just focusing on one thing for an extended period of time to get it done, and then using that result to make all the other little things just fall into place. That is to me, that is the practice of a professional. So
That's amazing because I don't think there is any school teacher that would agree with you in my ability to focus on one thing.
well, but it's one thing of passion. There's a difference between your lack of passion for mathematics and your passion for audio and video.
Well, it's always
Hey, I think StreamYard heard Medi's scream for key bindings because you can change the hotkeys now.
Yeah, I know. StreamYard has key bindings now.
Hey,
Yeah.
beautiful,
You can
beautiful.
configure the hotbind. So Jen is coming through us through StreamYard. We used to use Discord, but I got to tell you, Discord is very tricky for streaming. And the reason is that the cameras that people use for me to be able to see them are mitigated. They're throttled. So they're always pixelated. The only way I can give my players a clean, crisp video of themselves, of me, and a layout of our online game is if I'm using the live streaming feature on Discord, because that's 60 FPS with a 1080 pixelation rate. But in order for everybody to have that same crispness, everybody else has to stream back to me, but I can only capture one screen at a time.
Yep.
So there's no real way to use Discord at the highest level of what OBS allows you to do everything with. So we switched to StreamYard, and I'm piping Vince into our studio overlay over his name banner right there, so it looks like he's holding hands with Omni. It looks like he's kind of in the studio with us a little bit. Hey, Chainer Hawk, how are you? So for a certain, it's kind of fun because I don't know if anybody else out there watches Critical Role. I love watching Critical Role. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else out there that when they turn on and they have their waiting screen, there's 100,000 plus
people just watching the art.
Watch
I know, right?
I don't know if anybody else watches them out there. I do, but
I mean, I'm not going to lie. My favorite voice is the Grog voice. Now, Scanlan, can you stand outside my door while I take a shit? I just don't secretly I'm going to talk to the blade, but there was a time during season 1 when Ashley's professional career was very much taking off, so she was remote all the time. Well, a lot of the platforms that we have now, they didn't have back then.
Right.
So they literally had a screen on a table at the kitchen with Ashley's face.
a tablet
And that was it.
piping
And I
her audio
fucking
through.
loved it. I thought that was so cool. But here I'm piping Vince from Long Beach into a studio overlay. I mean, I'm not purposely trying to blend his background because I think it's fine the way it is. But it's cool how I can almost get the aspect
he does
ratio.
look like he is a halfling, though. You could scale him up a little bit.
I probably could, but then it's going to overlap into you.
That's all right. Just shift him to the side. I could go like this. Get me over to the right a little bit more. Give you some space, Vinny.
There we go.
There you go. Look at you. We're the same.
Put me in his lap. Put me in his lap.
You got dollar bills?
I got plenty of dollar bills.
No, you don't, because you're in a relationship. That's totally untrue.
Okay, so to the game.
Yeah, we've been introing for like
I'm just
48
gonna
minutes.
sideswipe that conversation real quick.
It's just, you know what? So this kind of lends into the other challenge of playing D&D. It's the pre-banter. Like, talking shit, which is why if some of us would show up on time or early...
I work nights. I go to bed around like 5 in the morning. You expect me to be up by noon. You're lucky I woke up at 11:45.
He's got a point. But I love shooting the shit with my friends before we play. So, all right, so let's recap. Because a handful of things have happened on the Revels. Thorvald was discovered by Medi to be murdered. His body was found in the magistrate's office where he normally holds either his meetings or his conversations with either other captains or other individuals. This is the kind of center of his power base. The team was out either rooting on Gatharn's victory over Brutus, the Minotaur. And
His name was Brutus?
His name was Brutus.
Never asked.
Never asked. With that, Gatharn was taken off to the Tilted Sail in an effort to be celebrated. And who did you run into over there?
One of the sisters.
Yeah,
And Ket.
one of the sisters tried to blowgun you, and then took off.
Not the kind of blowing I wanted.
Meanwhile, I believe it was
Keth.
Keth who also ran into you at the
And
same
we found
time.
out she's got healing capabilities.
Yes, she did some healing. With that, the team eventually, after being...
I'm so mad about it. I'm so mad that Keth is a cleric.
She could be a bard.
I mean,
Either
technically
way. She's a
anybody in
stag,
this
yeah.
game could have minor
Yeah,
healing
that's
abilities.
true.
It's one of those things I like about the 5e mechanic. You can get a little bit more in depth into a character's
Still mad about
archetype
it.
build. But yeah, everybody else was slightly distracted with Omni trying to recover lost beddings and recruiting Labash, getting Labash to take the winnings back to the ship. Medi was the only one that remained back in the headquarters to kind of get a feel for what was going on. Panic began to ensue overall as the realization that Thorvald had been murdered was beginning to spread as a rumor throughout the Revels. On top of that, one of the wharf districts of the Revels is currently on fire. Realizing by overhearing some mysterious individuals talking in a dark alleyway via Medi's involvement, it would seem that a plan is beginning to unfold. Whether Thorvald's assassination was part of that plan or not, An attempted assassination on the Hawk also took place. He was retrieved, brought back to the magistrate's office as well, or came back on his own accord, barely, pretty much on death's door. This had caused everybody else to realize something was going on here. An investigation of the body began to realize that this was not a professional hit, that the damage and the overall way that Thorvald was killed seemed suspicious. This then led us down a discussion of what else is in this room. Eventually, with Gatharn, Jin, Omni, and Medi all back in the magistrate's headquarters and beginning to examine the space, they had discovered a secret chamber. And the impetus for this was the fact that the banner couldn't be found, or the flag, Copper Joe's flag, was nowhere where it was once before. It was behind Thorvald's desk with the great two-handed maul and then the flag kind of hanging in front of it.
2 malls or 1?
Just one. Just
Okay.
a single maul with the kind of the banner like offset to the side of it, giving like this kind of emblematic look or appeal or aesthetic that perhaps Thorvald was going for. However, the team did discover a false wall. They realized that a bookcase was attached to this false wall. It was shifted off to the side, and where we last left off, the 4 of you with a crowd of onlookers in the main office space, and I believe it was the Hawk, who's currently heavily wounded and residing in a chair, one of the captain of the guard. The remaining folks are beginning to prepare an evacuation as the main beacon was lit, telling everybody to evacuate the Revels. As we are now officially on the last day of the Revels with the lighting of that evacuation beacon.
I honestly thought that the Revels was going to be like in our real time, like a month worth of the campaign. And that there was going to be, I had no clue.
It's been almost 3 months, I think.
I was telling a friend of mine that's
all
like,
of it.
so we started this campaign. The first 5 sessions, we did some bullshit. Session 6, we got to the Revels. We're on session 20. We're still at the Revels.
It's day 5.
Yeah, it's the end of day 5. Yeah, absolutely. And the Revels are supposed to last 7 days. However, with the beacon being lit, that has been cut short. The 4 of you, with the Hawk and a handful of others in the background of the office, are now staring at this space. You're looking at a hidden chamber, and this is where the cool part comes in, right? Right. This is always cool. As you stare at this space, in the very center, the most obvious thing that you can see is another form that looks to be Thorvald. He is sitting in a glass vat, a chamber, almost like a large canister. Alongside this canister, you can see another kind of smaller canister kind of attached and associated to it. In the very back room, you can see where the Maul and Copper Joe's banner is placed up against the back of the wall. You can see bookcases, tables, boxes, all manner of equipment and items that could be magical in nature. It's hard to tell without a deeper investigation. But all of you are in this space. What would you guys like to do? Vince, can you see that okay?
Yeah, perfect.
I'm
I
just
will
gonna-
go over to the mall and flag. He'll.
Yeah, that candelabra right there. Yeah, back there would be where that is. Okay.
I will heave the mall off to Gatharn and try to fold up the flag.
Give me an athletics check on the mall.
You need a 17 strength to move it.
Nat fucking 20.
Oh my
Nat 20. What's your strength modifier?
+1.
It does not move.
Gatharn!
I love it.
What?
Little prize for you here, buddy.
That thing's like 5 times my size.
Well, help me get it off.
Did you say help him get off?
Yes, help me get it out. buddy. Please. For the love of God, man.
All right, I'm going to go in
Yeah. What's your strength?
18.
18. What's your strength, Jen?
12.
12. It basically requires a strength of 18 to even pick this thing up. And as you pick it up, you can't even move it.
We'll need a wheelbarrow.
Just
Between
lift it
the
up a
two,
little
yeah,
bit.
and I'll say
Strength of
between the two of you,
22.
you drag it away from the wall, and there's like deep grooves in the wooden floor where it's like curling upwards, and you're like, this thing, yeah. You're too short to wield it, but anybody of normal size has to have a strength of at least 18 or greater to be able to wield this thing.
As we're lifting it, I was like, I'm kind of glad I fought one of the sisters and not Thorvald himself, you know.
And we'll put somebody roll perception for Betty. We'll put her like in between the false doorway and
Can
while you
she
guys
roll
are doing.
investigation?
Yeah, but give her
No.
perception for now as a base,
Perception
just
first
so
as a
because I know
base.
her. She's always on Overwatch.
Yeah, absolutely.
She always is.
So her perception is a 16,
Okay.
and her investigation is 19.
Okay.
Omni's immediately gonna turn to everybody in the room and tell them to shut the door, because you said there was the one guard captain.
The guard captain is still there. He had set off one of the other sergeants to light the beacon. The beacon
Perfect.
was lit. So that activity is still going on. The hawk is now kind of getting up and he kind of limps over so he can kind of look into the space, and he's looking at the form of Thorvald in the giant canister vat. I'll be damned. He coughs and a little bit of blood kind of dribbles out of his mouth. He looks over at you. What do you want me to do?
You have the men to take him, stow him on your ship, and flee.
He looks at you and looks
Is
back
the
at
wharf
you.
that's on fire the one where the hawk ship was?
No. My ship isn't over there. My ship is on the other side alongside Thorvald's ship. No. I'm sorry. Blood loss. Thorvald's ship is where the fire is. My ship's on the other side. The hawk is on your side of the wharf.
Okay.
I can gather up men. I mean, what do I take? Do I take his entire form? Do I take his dead body as well and take... I don't know for sure what to take.
His
I'm
carcass
going
is
to
just a
do
shell now.
A Karna
Is
check.
it? Give
It
me an
should be.
Arcana. Yeah, give me an Arcana check, Catharn.
And Omni's gonna do an insight check on the hawk
Okay.
to see
18.
his sincerity.
18. The small cylinder next to Thorvald's other form, his alt form, those two parts appear to be one and the same. Like one is an energy, almost like an arcanic gelatinous energy field that's somehow connected. You get the feeling those two have to go together.
Okay.
We need to cover him up so that he's not seen in transit. Because as far as everybody else knows,
What'd you get
He's
for your
gone.
insight, by the way?
17.
As far as you can tell, the hawk is not only being genuine, he feels awkward. Like he's used to being in control.
Like
None
this
of
is something
this,
that was going on behind the curtain. And
yeah,
he's not
yeah.
comfortable.
None
not
of
being
this
in the
is
loop.
part of his orchestration,
Yeah,
and
okay.
the sudden appearance of this alt form of Thorvald has him completely perplexed. He is genuine in his awkwardness.
I'm gonna relay the information that those canisters need to go with Thorvald's body. His simulacrum clone body.
Okay. The hawk looks at it, and then he quickly limps out. You can hear him kind of call out, and you can hear footsteps as he's calling men.
Maximus, let's get one thing straight.
As he comes back with the 4 men, and they're beginning to try to figure out how to move this thing. Yeah.
You are not trusted.
Why would you trust the master spy?
You will be on our ship. We're not letting you out of our sight.
Give me a persuasion check. Do you want Thorvald on the ship?
No, Maximus.
So
Max
where do you
is
want
gonna be on our
Thorvald to
ship.
go? On the hawk?
Thorvald should probably go on our ship
With the
too.
Warforged? Because the Warforged captain...
We don't have the space to store him.
I mean,
Oh, we technically do. We don't
How
have the
large is that
space
smuggling
to.
hole?
oh, not big enough for that.
No.
No.
Yeah, we don't have enough space to basically house a lot of people. But if he's going to be comatose, we'll just carry him like cargo.
The three of you, and you can roll for Medi. I need all four of you to give me insight checks really quick.
Okay.
As your conversation's going on with the hawk.
19.
19? Okay.
Medi got a 15.
My dice feel bad for me.
They're in rebellion.
Medi got a 15. Omni
15?
got 18.
18. Omni and what'd you get, Jen? 19, right?
19.
Yeah. Omni and Jin become to realize that the contraption that Tharivald's in has to remain in that position. Looking at the way the secondary canister is fueling and integrating with the main canister that Tharivald's form is inside of, you get the feeling that it has to purposely remain in that position. It's 10 feet in height. Your deck is 8 feet in height in your subdecks because you guys run a sloop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only ship that would be probably big enough to manage this would either be the Hawk or Thorvald's ship, which is now probably in flames.
I'll look to Jin. Do you want to run the Hawk ship? I guess it's just the Hawk. Do you want to run the Hawk?
No.
My captain is suited enough for that.
Yeah.
He can run that ship. Do we sail together?
No.
I can... What is our destination? Even if we evacuate, we clear out what we need to take with us. And
I hand him the scroll with the intent of where everybody was supposed to meet after they were done with their mission.
and
We meet back here. We take you as a captive.
are-
Captain Ami was correct there.
why-
Not a
Why
captive,
would he have a...
but
Why would he
insurance.
have us meet in Earl Bay? That...
Thorvald
You're
doesn't
the
want us to
spy
go there,
master,
that's
you
why
tell
we're
us.
wanting him.
This is an abandoned coral reef out in the middle of the Lucidian Sea. There's no...
This is the scroll that Gatharn had, right? Where
Yeah.
it's like a place to
I think
remain
so.
No.
like
This is the
smuggled
one
fish.
Medi and I found in
No,
his...
this one that
his-
Manny in the center drawer desk.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
And so now the Hawk looks even more confused. He's like, Earl Bay is one of his rallying points, but it's so far. It's out at the very edges of the deepest part of the Lucidian Sea, and
Then we'll be safe from the Clovis Concord.
yeah, but there's no infrastructure there. There's no place. It's a coral reef.
Max, we have no time to argue. Have your men stow Thorvald's clone in this position on your deck and have your captain meet us there.
Give me persuasion with advantage, because Omni's already been kind of getting a feel for his...
Did you mention the thing you found under the desk? Okay, good.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it sounds very Catharnish not to mention that.
No, it's smart.
16.
16.
No, I'm sorry, 18.
18. He looks at you and Omni he goes, so, me and my... grabs his chest. Me and my men will take Thorvald to my captain.
Yes.
We will rally at Earl Bay, correct?
Yes.
Do you want me to travel with you, Captain Omni, or do you want me to travel with my ship? Coughs.
Okay, that's getting fucking annoying. Give him a greater healing potion.
He takes it from you and begins kind of like downing it. It goes, thank you, Gatharn. Yes,
I'm gonna need a barrel.
a barrel.
Yep.
What do you need a barrel for?
To put Thorvald's head in it.
Or are we taking his body with us? Do you want to take his body, or do you want me to?
Well, they're debating that. I'm
We
like,
need to take some proof that
going
he
over
is
to
gone.
Thorvald's dead body.
Yeah, the dead body.
And I'm cutting his head off.
Yeah.
Well, there's not
Nope.
much left to sever, so...
No, that's why it
There's-
should be pretty quick and easy.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna need you to roll. There's just a lot of kind of people kind of cringing while you do it, but there's the handful of people that are watching this. Even the Hawk, even though he knows what he sees, it's difficult for him to take this in.
Is there a
However,
big old bottle of rum
give me a perception check.
or barrel? I should
During
say.
this whole time, wow. That was a journey. Medi will have gone and basically done the perimeter of the room and like investigated every table, every chest, while we're all conversing.
Okay.
She's just like
Yeah.
looking
Have
at
her
everything.
give me investigation. We'll see what she finds.
23.
23. There's not a particular barrel, but there is a like almost like a bar, like a mini bar behind Thorvald's desk where he would entertain with. And there's all manner of liquor in it. There's rum, there's whiskeys, there's mead, there's cordials, there's all manner of just casual liquors that he keeps in there.
Oh, just a cool and casual 25.
25?
Is it enough to fill a barrel?
Collectively?
Or you want to put the head in alcohol?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe not a barrel, but with that same perception check, you can see a pony keg sized, like,
Will Thorvald's head fit in it?
yeah,
Then-
just barely. So I'll say,
Or did I just start pouring alcohol into it?
yeah. Since you don't have anyone around to cast Spare the Dying, this will at least keep it from decomposing to a certain degree. So we'll say you spend the next 20 minutes doing that.
Oh, hold
Jim-
on.
Yeah, go ahead. Do you have Spare the Dying? Because that might be easier.
Can I shape water to freeze whatever element of water there is?
Well, I
Into
mean,
the
everything
cake?
they're interacting with is alcohol, and you can't freeze alcohol.
Yeah.
So I'll say we'll go with Gatharn's method. However,
Mhm.
Gatharn,
I can create water.
just to make sure you don't fuck something up,
I can
just give me
create
a
water and
give me a
freeze
general intelligence check. So D20 with your intelligence modifier.
Slap him on the ass and help him.
So you're blessed. You have a D4.
Uh,
I like how Vince said you have to explain it. I just know he means blessed, and or guidance. Sorry, he's guidance.
30, 20?
30-20, okay. You get the portions right. You get the seal kind of done relatively well. And you now have a small, like, pony keg of just mixed grain alcohol with the head relatively preserved on the inside.
I'm going to write on it, Gatharn's booze. Don't touch.
Okay. At some point on a
You drink
daily...
that later, and you forget, and you're just like,
Gonna-
it looks
gonna
just
drink
like my
Firbolg's
regular pony
essence.
keg.
At
Got a
some
refreshing
point,
bouquet.
on a daily basis, you're going to need to check, like, is it retaining? Is it, evaporate? You're going to need a daily check on it to maintain it at this
On
point.
that though, Omni does have create water, and if Jin can freeze it, would that preserve it better? As like this is a let's handle this right now and get to the ship. But once we start
Gatharn's
going,
method is less maintenance.
gotcha.
You feel your method is a constant need
Upkeep, yeah.
to maintain that
Okay.
frozen condition because you are in the tropics at this point.
Yeah.
To a certain degree.
So okay,
At least
so,
equatorially, weather-wise, you're kind of in that environment. So with this, the Hawk kind of gets what your plan is, and his men are currently doing their best to disassemble the entire kind of setup that is Thorvald at this point.
as the Hawk asked, do you want me to sail with you or his crew or his own crew? I'll kind of like pull the group in for like a group huddle and be like, what do you guys think? Enemies close?
He should sail with us. That way we have a hostage.
Congratulations, you are now part of the Storm's Eye.
Oh, good. Thank you, Gathar. Thank you for your input.
Gatharn doesn't give a rat's ass.
Yeah. And Medi just wants to keep an eye on him. That way, if she needs to, she can kill him. You are now part of the, how do I say, cargo of the Storm's Eye.
I'm going to do my magic sense. Now that the entire room is
Right.
visible to me.
Well, let's resolve what Medi discovered,
25, baby.
because this will probably help kind of define what you guys might want to do. Sorry about the tweaking on the studio, guys, but I'm still trying to figure out certain things that I want to kind of help people be able to know. Because it just occurred to me, if anyone were to browse us online, they'd be like, oh, this is great. What are they doing?
Porn.
Yeah, we're doing beer porn. Medi comes across many different things. There is a small chest near the doorway, the false door entrance, that is filled with quite a few coins. There's the personal seal of Thorvald on the box. You get the feeling that this is his personal wealth.
I'm just gonna go ahead and take that.
That is going, well, it will take some time to count out. So it's
We're not
basically a
counting.
large chest filled with miscellaneous coins and precious stones as well. You then, she kind of peruses one of the bookshelves, and it's all manner of gazetteers and encyclopedia-style informational books of like all the major islands throughout the Lucidian Sea and along the Menagerie Coast. Everything from Vidcay to Rumblecusp, the island of Darktow, and there's maybe a smattering of smaller atoll and island names. He's clearly been studying this particular area of the Lucidian Sea, both close to the Menagerie Coast as well as certain pivotal points within the edge of where the depths of where you would call the greater Lucidian Sea, where you start to make your way out into an area that you're going to find yourself going towards Tal'Dorei or Marquette, or way out beyond just the Menagerie coastal region. She then begins to peruse another table that seems to be almost like a lab style table where he's been writing and studying. Here she finds some interesting information. There is a great deal of information about doppelganger science. He's clearly been obsessed with it, studying it, as there are at least 24 books stacked in a variety with lots of parchments and scrolls of his own handwriting. That would be that one.
Okay.
And then the other table is filled with magical potion recipes that focus on preservation.
Yep.
This entire setup, and then looking as the canisters removed, the other canisters removed, and the 6 sailors that serve the Hawk are now beginning to shift. You watch as the Hawk talks to one of the sailors and says, "Make sure to have my bags sent." Oh, what's the name of your vessel again?
Storm's Eye.
Sent to the Storm's Eye. Inform our captain that we'll be traveling to Earl Bay. Storm's Eye sloop. I believe you have a sloop, correct? The Storm's Eye sloop will be piloting us there. We'll follow them. Remind the captain that Earl's Bay is a very shallow reef point, not to approach it directly. But have my bags there. Get Thorvald safely stowed below. Gather up all of our men. If you find anyone absent a vessel, get them on board as well. And report back to me as soon as possible. Get the ship to sea. It'll take longer for the Hawk to make port and get out of the wharf area. And this conversation is going, and there's that steady kind of rise of crowds forming and stuff going on. The steady glow of the more northwesternly wharf that is still burning, which is, as we stated earlier before, it's burning, but there's really no sense of what caused it. There were no explosions, there were no cannonades that occurred. So perhaps somebody set the fires. It's hard to know for sure, but
I'll ask the Hawk if he can communicate with any of his people that might be in that area through his brooch thingies.
I can try. I don't really have that many operatives in the Revels. It's more Thorvald's territory than mine. Our agreements were more about trying to discover potential spies and interlopers in on the Revels. All of my men and women are accounted for so far.
Anything in this room was extremely important to Thorvald. So
I think the
we
whole
need to
room is.
Take it all. Anything that is too large that won't fit on the Storm's Eye, we need it on the Hawk. We need to just get everything out of here as quickly as possible.
Eventually, the captain of Thorvald's guards is also planning an evacuation as well. And he takes up the Hawk's offer of getting on to his vessel. and then begins to coordinate and command different soldiers to come in with empty boxes, and now they're beginning to throw everything that you can see into the space. Jin, you also took the banner and folded it up, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you're now in possession of Copper Joe's flag, correct?
Hey,
Okay.
buddy. The table that had all of the scrolls and information about preservation, Omni is assuming that.
And treat Medi like someone who's cataloging things for you.
Yeah.
As the soldiers are coming and packing things up,
Being
she's
aware
kind
of
of
what's
like
going where.
organizing what goes where, who, what does what, and stuff like that.
I want to make sure that if there is any information in here about the not the tincture, the potion formula that satiates her thirst, is sure to be on the Storm's Eye.
With her investigation check, that is nowhere in this room. She did not spy that anywhere. She's currently operating off of what her and Raylene discovered.
Yeah.
I will say this much. She found components related to what her and Raylene discovered,
Okay.
which will be part of what's going to be taken. Jin, all three of you, I'll say Medi's busy, so the three of you give me survival checks really quick.
Six.
15.
It was funny when you did that, Cesare. It looked like your camera froze. You're like,
Natural 20 for a 21.
nice. And what'd you get, Gatharn?
15.
15. For you, Omni, watching all this play out, there's about 2 hours of work here. They're just now getting the canisters loaded onto platforms that can be wheeled out of here.
Mm-hmm.
But there are now at least 24 crates that are being loaded up with everything in the space. There's at least 2 hours of work here. No matter what, 2 hours is going to be consumed in this process. And the chaos is building outside.
Magic awareness.
Oh, the chest with all the gold, that's on the gold Storm's Eyes for sure.
Right.
And anything gets thrown.
Your magical awareness is mitigated in this space. As you go to pulse it out, it just doesn't respond.
Is there a gem in the ceiling?
Give me a perception check.
16.
Yeah, there is not. Not that you can see.
Okay, so because it basically, I open my awareness to
Right.
areas
You
of
get the feeling
concentrated
something is
magic.
suppressing it.
Where?
Give me perception with advantage because you would
think
be able to
it's
focus
this.
in on where it could
Right.
potentially be.
This glowy thingy. I think it's this crystal ball. Just because it looks like magic.
19 plus 4, 23.
23. In the very
Damn.
heights of the corner of each room, you can see silver kind of like glyphs pulsing.
Anybody can
small.
dispel those? I point out for the hawk.
Okay. The hawk sees him and goes, I don't really dabble in magic, mate.
I center. I try to get as much of them in the bubble as I can, and I cast Dispel Magic.
What level?
4th.
All four of them wink out. Your magical awareness pulses out.
Just
You
gonna read
sense
this
the
right here. I don't
banner.
know if you can.
You sense the flag on Vince, on Jin's character. You sense some of the components that are being packed away are glowing with certain forms of schools of enchantment and transmutation. The canisters, as they're being loaded on, they are glowing with a transmutation and divination school of magic. The mall is radiating a very kind of it is not radiating a school of magic. It is radiating a kind of it's radiating almost like a pantheon style of magic, to the equivalency of when you've interacted with bless or radiant kind of magic. The banner, however, the flag, Copper Joe's flag that is folded up in Jen's possession, you don't really remember for sure what it used to feel like. It feels dark. It feels necrotic. It feels necromancy in nature.
Because I've never done the magic awareness
Yeah.
on the flag.
No.
And those are the only things in the room that are radiant?
Yeah. Other than anybody else in your party possessing any magical items.
So the items that I know that are like spell components that have like a little bit of enchantments, like those go on our ship.
Well, I mean, at this point, do you want everything on the Storm's Eye in this room?
If
You
it
should have enough
fits.
room in your cargo hold.
Yeah,
should
if
you not?
it fits.
Yeah, if it fits,
We take
yeah.
Thorvald and the canisters because of the condition they have to
Yeah.
remain in. I feel like, in case something happens, at least you have the resources that he was using.
I'm looking for spell books.
At this point, not coming across any. None that you can see.
Oh, a mirror. What's up with the mirror?
Give me an investigation check.
The way you paused
mirror.
drinking, I was like,
what's up with the mirror?
Thorvald's just chilling there watching us. An
As you-
investigation.
as
Betty,
you-
come over here.
As you actually notice the mirror, you turn towards it as well. It begins to pulse a divination.
Betty, come check this out.
I think it's scrying.
It's possible.
Let's see. Investigation.
It would kind of explain how Torvald was able to kind of figure
can you
out
look
and
at
always
this,
know
please?
what was going on.
Did you roll a double 20?
A 20 and a 19. So that brings it to a 28.
28. Gotcha. Her investigation.
That was
man.
Medi. Medi's investigation is advantage and +8. She's like,
So as she's examining it, and with the awareness that Catharn has from the mirror, she can see arcanic glyphs running along the edge of it, and she thinks it's a mirror of scry.
to the Storm's Eye.
Okay.
Oh.
So everything's currently in the
This-
process
this
of being packed
unicorn
up.
skull, is this just flavor or is this actually?
And there's a skull up on the bookshelf.
I'm looking at the floors.
Give me an investigation check, because you guys have 2 hours to consume while everything's
Yeah.
going around you. Each investigation check is the equivalent of like a 15 to 20 minute of activity. So
Yeah, what I'm looking for the floors,
okay,
scratch marks, scuff marks, as if something was being pulled across.
okay, go for it.
Trapdoors. Couple barrels. This looks like it has a bunch of
investigation.
arrows in it.
14.
14. You do, other than the marks that you guys have made, you don't see anything out of the ordinary at this point. As far as you can
I'm gonna
tell,
spend my time getting acquainted with the flag.
You're gonna tune to it.
Tuning?
Yeah.
My God.
Okay. You kind of
YOLO.
have, you kind of have your hand in your messenger bag, kind of holding on to the flag, and you're beginning to attune to it. Could take some time, but the moment you touch it, go ahead and give me a charisma save, please. Begin to focus in on the item.
25.
Okay,
25.
good to know.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Good to know.
Yeah, just looking at the actual props you have set up in here. Crystal ball, is that what's on this table?
You get the feeling that that is a ball scrying. Once again, it emanates with
Multiple
divination,
things,
but a
yeah.
little bit more, less power, a little less, and it almost seems like it's focused on a particular area.
Would it require casting of it, or does
It
So you have
looks
to
like it's
cast
something
scry.
that's used in a casting method. Like somebody who has
Gotcha.
the ability to scry would utilize this for that. Whereas the mirror looks like you attune to it
yeah,
and utilize it as an ability to
kind of like
scry.
the necklace?
Correct.
How
But-
tall was Thorvald?
Thorvald, 8 feet.
8 feet, yeah.
Looking towards like the ceiling, on the walls, seeing if there's any kind of like crenellation, which would be like a shelf that he specifically could reach up to.
Is
Well,
there a
most
key on
people
the back
couldn't.
of the door?
Give me perception, give me investigation.
I'm
believe me.
I'm learning from Cathar's mistakes. Here we go back to Omni.
That's 21.
21.
17 perception.
Yeah. There's no key on the back of the door, but there is an empty coat hook. Whether something was hanging on it before or not, you don't know. It's just odd that it's empty. For you, realizing where the glyphs were, you kind of follow them back and back and back, and as you're kind of following along, you're only 3 feet tall. So this is tricky because you begin to realize the ceiling, you're like looking and following, the ceiling's 10 feet tall. You then poke your head out. The ceiling in the study is 8 feet tall.
Oh, shit.
And then you quickly kind of go out to the hallway, the access point of the study, and the way the hallway ceiling is and looking, there's something weird. The architecture doesn't make sense. Why is this room 10 feet tall?
I point that out.
Medi uses spider climb and goes up and investigates.
Kind of goes
the
up.
section.
Go ahead and have her give me with advantage because Gathar noticed this.
30-20.
30-20. As she begins to climb up and look, she can see the dispelled glyphs. She can see a small handprint panel in the left corner of the room that looks like it pushes in.
Checking for traps.
Give me investigation.
Does she tell us it's a handprint panel?
I don't know. Does she? Would she? I kind of feel like she wouldn't, to be honest with you.
She'd investigate it for traps, and then she would go ahead if she thought. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. She didn't see anything magical or trapped as far as she can tell.
Yeah, she'll
Okay.
push it or use it.
All of you hear a heavy thunking noise. Just you watch as the hawk is helping his men move the second canister out, and as he turns to ask you a question, the door just shuts on its own. You hear a ceiling noise like this, and then you hear, and you watch as Medi's holding on to the sides. The ceiling is beginning to lower and lower and lower, at like a steady grinding noise as it's lowering and lowering. As the four of you are now in this space by yourself, and the ceilings begin to lower on you.
Okay. At this point, I'd be like, Betty, what the fuck did you do?
And you hear, no. Andy, can you hear me, Andy? What's going on in there, Andy?
Break the door! Break it down!
You hear, turn it over again. That's the one that they did earlier. It's not working. And there's like just confusion and chaos going on the outside.
Medi would check the perimeter to see if there was like a.
Give me perception because she's a little bit more frantic at this point.
Would she have said what she did?
She would have described that she pushed in that plate. She would definitely
which
describe
hand, right or left?
Well, my right. Jeez.
The handprint, was it right or left?
She looks up at it. She goes, "Oh shit." She's looking at it. It's a left print.
Cut off his left arm.
Just do it!
At that point, I'm
She got
also
a
hammering on the door.
18%.
Yeah, give me athletics as you're hammering on the door. Jen, with this going on, what are you doing? 18 perception for what were we checking?
Medi. She was checking.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because I'm hammering with my hammer.
Right.
Okay, so that's 25.
25. You get the feeling that in about 3 or 4 minutes you could get through this thing.
Okay, how much time do we actually have?
I mean, looking at the ceiling, and Medi is now further down, you maybe have 2 minutes.
Cool.
And you watch as it finally reaches the top of
Medi,
the
you got
bigger
nitroglycerin?
bookcases, and the bookcases are beginning to be like shattered and squeezed down.
You got the
Oh,
boom
I'm
boom
sorry.
button?
I've been muted this whole time.
Jin's just quiet, touching the
Yeah.
flag, just watching all this go down. Just like,
No, I was
another
doing
2
eeny,
minutes
meeny,
before I'm
miny,
actually
mo,
this bitch.
and I
Okay.
landed on Omni, so I touch the captain, and I'm gonna dimension door us out.
Oh yeah, because you guys dispelled the glyphs. You can do that.
I'm asking Medi if she's got her boom boom powder.
My boom boom powder. Why would I carry it on me? It's on the ship.
Well, hold on. I'm not done.
So Omni and I pop out, right?
Yeah. The Hawk and everybody else is in the office. They're frantically ripping at the bookcase, trying to get the door open. They see the two of you, and they're like, "Oh,
Is it
One
gunpowder
moment,
in here?
and I'll misty step back in.
not that you saw. Your other rolls would
Oh.
that would have come up. So you misty step back in.
Mm-hmm.
Jin and Gatharn are the only two in there now, or Medi's in there as well.
I was gonna
But
say,
Medi,
well,
I
grab
believe,
his
can
left
misty
arm.
step.
Yeah, grab
Medi
his
can
hand.
misty step.
She
So
can
can
use
I.
it. Oh. Well, I grab Gatharn anyway, and I dimension door us out again.
Yeah, you grab Gatharn at that point. Then Medi misty steps. All of you are back in the magistrate's office, and within a minute,
Well, that's unfortunate.
Oh no! If we had time, I would have cut off his left arm and gone back in.
I mean, it's gonna take you at least 2 minutes to saw through an arm, and then
I'm
go
not
back.
sawing through. I'm grabbing a soldier's freaking sword and
All right,
I'm
go-
freaking pulling and
Give me another.
I'm
athletics.
jointing him.
We'll see if we can do this in time before the room gets destroyed. I'm okay with that. So give me athletics.
wow. That's a 13.
13. I give it a DC of a 10. In your frantic effort, you rip it out of its joint, and you just pull the arm right off Thorvald. And you want to bamf back inside?
Yeah, to ask Medi exactly where that panel was.
Okay. She tells you. She gives you a good description of where it is. You're back inside. It's now 4 feet down. Most of the taller bookshelves have been scrunched down. It's not quite at the table.
So I
level
can
yet.
kind of reach.
Get on a
I
table.
go with it. I take the handprint and I put it onto the thing.
Go ahead and give me sleight of hand. Let's make sure you can organize this correctly.
Guidance.
17.
It's 17. You watch as the ceiling stops right at the 4-foot level, and then the door swings back open. You hear like it unseals at the same time and swings open.
Good job.
All the bookcases are now destroyed, as far as you can tell.
The mall?
Bookcases.
All the bookcases.
Oh, I thought you said the mall got destroyed. How?
All
We got it
the-
laying down.
All the bookcases got destroyed.
The books are still there, but the cases are.
Yeah, they've been
it's scrunched.
scrunched, and all the books have been kind of like spattered out into the center of the
That's fine.
room. It's just looks like a large debris field in the center of the room at this point.
But nothing else changed as far as height, is it?
No.
So, actually, would it be an intelligence check? Would it be safe to assume that the space difference for the ceiling height was where all like the mechanics behind the
Probably.
crushing stuff?
Yeah, probably. This was
So this
once
was
again
his fail-safe.
Yeah.
this feels like a failsafe. This feels like if, he empties the room, gets out, hits that panel, this gets destroyed behind him.
Well,
And that way, if someone discovers the secret door, they open up, it's just a fucking wall.
Correct.
freaking smart.
I can't help but notice that he seems to be kind of always ahead. You noticed that, Omni? Excuse me, Captain Omni. Have you been noticing that?
Cut off his thumb.
Well, you've already got his arm. Do you want to preserve that as well?
No, I need a new fetish.
Oh, gotcha.
You are a fetish. You're strange. Although I imagine it'd be fun to go drinking with
I
you.
thought that was just if you killed them.
Anyways, my men are going to gather the last of the...
Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah.
That makes it a little bit more disturbing.
So there's
okay.
about an hour left
It's the
of...
last guild leader of the freaking
Fair,
privateers.
fair,
I'm
okay,
taking
okay.
a trophy.
It's about an hour to finish up the collection of material at this
Okay.
point. You guys have burnt through an hour of
Yeah.
activity, triggering the trap and figuring out the failsafe. And now everybody's like on hands and knees gathering the last of the equipment. The main canister and the smaller canister have been retrieved and set over to the Hawk.
Are there any books? First off, I'm looking for books that are of magic and nature, like the research, things like that.
On the one large bookcase, there were definitely a plethora of books about nature, flora, fauna of many different islands and places. There doesn't seem to be anything related to magic in here. The only magical relation that you kind of pick up on is the preservation stuff he was working on and the potion and components that represented that material as well. Otherwise, the only thing that even came across as possibly magical would be all the reference material for the doppelganger studies that he was
We
doing.
got the mirror out, right? Okay.
Yeah, we'll say the mirror was taken out. Yeah.
All right, now I'm looking for books in other languages.
Give me an investigation.
18.
None that you can see.
The barrel of arrows seems suspicious because he is not a ranged fighter. We're just gonna assume that that's important. It's probably just a barrel of arrows. Maybe there was a trap in the room where the arrows would all. I don't know, but since we are short on time, anything that seems odd that stands out, we're just grabbing and going.
Give me an investigation on it.
And then the skull as well. 26.
Yeah, you check it out. As you shift it and help kind of drag the barrel off to the side, you look down underneath the barrel. There's a trap door right underneath the barrel.
But he was strong enough he didn't have to drag it. He just had to lift it up and put it aside.
There is a perfect, 24-inch diameter trap door right underneath the barrel.
Since it's a trap door, we're checking for traps. 27.
27. Yeah, there's a little handle on it. There's a hinge network system, and you can see a thin wire running across the entire panel to the hinges, and it seems to drop below to the interior of the space on the other side of the trap door. It's definitely a tripwire of some sort.
Betty, can you disarm this?
Give me a sleight of hand. 23. You hear like a snip noise, but she's holding onto the one wire that goes back behind it. She pegs it against a piece of wood with a heavy weight, and then pulls back the trap door.
Can we see anything? Just going into a trapdoor doesn't
Yeah,
feel
you
right.
gotta look down. I mean, it's about the size of a manhole cover. It's not that big.
Oh, okay.
And she pulls it back, and as kind of all four of you are kind of leaning over and looking down, it's not very well lit. There's a
Bats fly
steel, there's like a metal ladder descending down into the darkness.
Gatharn is slightly enjoying this. Because all you motherfuckers gotta crouch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't-
like Jin
Yeah,
is
we're
like this,
all
and Medi's a little
crouching
bit like
down.
this. And
You're just walking around like normal.
I'm going to investigate this barrel in case it's booze.
Which one? That one? It is filled with an unknown liquid substance that looked a lot like the other substance that was in the canisters that were taken out.
Refill. Extra power.
They sniff it.
Sniff it. It's got a weird kind of acidic smell
Get
and
really
kind
high.
of like earthy smell to it.
I cap it.
Put a cap on it.
Send it to the hawk.
Yeah, I don't think we want this
No.
with us. No. In case it goes boom.
Does this trapdoor and ladder down remind Medi of the trapdoor that took her under the surface of the street surface when she was following the lich?
It looks surprisingly similar. Whether it was already here before or was made after the fact, there is a sense of similar design, but she's not sure if that matters.
Okay. Omni will ask Medi to check it out because she has dark vision.
Okay. She kind of peers over, looks down. Looks like it goes down about 15 feet, and there's a familiar subterranean surface of that she can remember when she was underneath the inner workings of the dragon shell.
Does this feel like something we pursue? There's no way Thorvald would have been able to fit down that little space, would he?
As far as you know.
Unless he but he's not a spell. He did use magic though. We have no idea what we're.
I'm just thinking that if I was in that Necromancer, it'd be really cool to reanimate the island Island.
Yeah.
It's
But
so
thankfully, I'm not.
it's so much more fun when you guys are actually here.
Sorry,
Real quick,
Jim.
Medi, just pop down, right back up. Let us know what you see down there.
She goes, all right. Spider climbs down there. It's really dark.
You have dark vision.
I know. I'm just giving you. You asked. I hate you, Omni.
She
I don't-
goes invisible.
It
Yes,
seems like it's a
yes.
large chamber, and there are 8-foot long boxes down here that are 3 foot in height. There's about 6 of them. It's very weird,
Those a bunch of extra Thorvold bodies.
and they smell really bad. There's a table down here with a
8-foot
bunch of
boxes.
ceramics on it, and this feels like a lab space, but there's no way to. Oh, wait a minute! And then suddenly, there's light that filters up, and she's lit a bunch of sconces that were on the side of the wall.
Yep.
Well, there's light now, so if you guys want to come down and check it out, you're free to.
Do we have the
I'm
time?
already down there.
Oh, you're already.
Cathar just leaps down past Omni.
I feel like everybody's just looking at
They
you.
are
I would have
currently-
followed Medi. I
We look
can see
back
in the
into
dark
Farns
as well.
and
So.
The last of the boxes are being packed up.
Okay.
So there's maybe 20 minutes of work left in this space to get it empty. The 2 hours is almost up.
I have one more use of magic awareness.
Yeah, you
I'm
drop.
using it.
And you pulse out magical awareness. There's nothing magical in the space
Do
whatsoever.
these boxes look like coffins that would hold Thorvold's body,
They don't look like coffins.
or just?
Are you down
containers?
there as well?
I'm asking. Do those boxes look
So
like
Gatharn and Medi are down
Thorvald's
there.
body would
Jin,
fit?
where are you at this point? You're still
I
up in.
Crack one of
Yeah.
the boxes open.
I'm just
Not
looking
five,
down and I'm
8
just keeping
undead
watch.
Okay.
Thorvold bodies.
Give me perception, Jin, just so I have it as a base to operate off of.
4.
4. That is beautiful.
As they walk down there, I'm just gonna close the trap door and lock them in.
You feel a
and just
blow
be like,
dart gut needle in your neck.
I collapse and I die.
Bye, everybody.
Already
It's
dead.
Sunday night.
I'm dead.
He's like, you're already dead.
That's okay. My girlfriend's home, so it's perfect timing. I'll say, Gatharn, what you can see is they are 8-foot long boxes that are about 3 feet in height and 3 feet across. There is a kind of liquid-like residue leaking from the bottom of each of the boxes. Most of the lids are kind of half askewed. Each box seems to contain the physical remains of something. Medi and Gatharn, give me history checks. See if you can figure out what these are.
14.
14?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Medi recognized them as the remains of doppelgangers.
Oh shit. Shit. Failed experiments hidden. Goddamn.
So they look nothing like Thorvald.
Mm-mm.
Cool. I take a piece of one of them as well.
Okay. What do you want to take a piece of?
The head.
The head? Okay. Take one of the heads. I mean, you're pretty weighted down with gear. Now you're carrying a doppelganger head.
The only thing I've got is my hammer, Thorvald's head, the note, and this head.
All right. Okay. I'm cool with that. Jin, you hear them yell up that.
Oh, my backpack that's got the potions.
Right. You hear them yell up that seems to be the remains of doppelgangers that they found.
That's nice. Can we hurry up?
You hear a hammering noise as the last of the crates are packed up. The hawk kind of leans in underneath the 4-foot section of the collapsed wall. Can we go?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
I start walking out with the hawk.
The experimental table.
Okay.
See what kind of notes or anything like that's written there.
Close the trap
Give me perception.
door.
Close trap
Put the
door.
barrel back on top.
Jin closes the trap door, moves the barrel back on top of it, leaving Medi and Gatharn back down there.
18.
It has been recently cleaned off. Maybe within the last day or so. It's hard to tell for sure.
Which would make sense if he was planning on the leave soon.
But once again, looking around, this doesn't feel like a comfortable space. This doesn't feel like a space of this. It's
Well, how
weird.
high is the ceiling?
The ceiling here is only about 5.5 feet tall.
So, but
Oh shit! It's the freaking scribe's little testing room.
oh. I'm
I
getting.
go. I open the trap door and I move the barrel again. I'm like, it's the scribe's room. It's the scribe's room.
So the doppelgangers,
Like
you
a
said,
out
Shit,
of
you can't even
game.
move
I'm
a
getting a
wad
whole
of
like
toilet
knives
paper.
out feeling here.
the doppelgangers' remains.
He just took one of the heads.
Okay, so they look like all different people. Or
They
types of
look
people?
like different individuals of the same species.
They look like the Silence from Doctor Who.
Yes,
That's
with
how-
variations to like physicality.
Okay.
But you know, their skin pallor looks similar. Their overall features look similar. They just look slightly different from each other.
So hearing all this, Omni's mind is racing, and they're thinking, did Thorvald figure it out in time?
Yes, that
no.
would be a little bit more accurate as to
Oh,
what they
no.
would look like. Yeah.
That's creepy.
Which camera?
Did Thorvald figure out how to do the doppelganger thing in time? And is he now anyone? Could he now be anyone? Was he able to transfer himself into somebody? Is Thorvald on our ship right now as Keth? Lots of things are racing through.
I don't know. I just sit here and watch you guys play. I have no idea what's
Yeah,
going
sure,
on.
right. Okay.
Okay, so I go back up, and oh yeah, by the way, found Kath. Think we got a healer.
Is
Who are you saying that to?
is
Everyone that's
Who's in
currently within earshot. Omni.
Well,
the
I mean,
Hawk.
you and Medi are still down
Oh,
below.
no, I said I left.
Okay, so you're now up
Yeah,
and
but
out.
Medi would
Medi
back
would
up.
have left as well.
turning out the lights?
The last of the items have been packed up and kind of. The Hawk and
Crawling
Jen are out in the magistrate's office, kind of waiting. The panic of the outside of the area is kind of still out there. The crescendo of people yelling and barking out orders. It's not as chaotic anymore. Some semblance of order and control is definitely going on out there, but it's building. It's like it's getting to that point where more and more people are leaving and shifting towards the wharfs, and there's
It's organized chaos.
yeah, it's very much an organized chaos at this point.
Yeah, so I mentioned that Keth is now on a ship, and it seems we've got a healer.
Chaotic, stupid. Very true, Enigma.
Keth is also the presumed, and I'll look to the Hawk, the presumed other spy that was on league with the sisters and whoever their liege lord is.
What do you mean Keth is a spy?
I thought that's what you said.
I said keep an eye on her. I suspect she is, but I don't know if she worked with the sisters. For all I
You
know,
were with
she-
her in the
sound.
bar telling her to keep spying on Thorvald?
I never speak with Keth. I don't know
So
why.
someone who can look like the Hawk was telling Keth to keep spying on Thorvald to settle her debt.
Probably one of the sisters. Because they.
To settle her. What?
Mm-mm.
Keth came to us injured, serving on another ship. Thorvald felt bad for her and gave her a scribe job because she had some abilities. I suspected it felt very much played, very much structured and organized. Believe it or not, Thorvald does have a bit of a soft spot, but I've never really considered it genuine. Who? What? Why take on the illusion of me to have a conversation with her? I've never truly spoken with her. At least not alone. She's always been in Thorvald's office. Where is she now?
On our ship.
Is she?
She's helping them to make ready. And she made me sober.
Well, that sounds like Kath. She does have some clerical abilities.
He's so upset.
She said,
Oh man.
so who is
Are
she?
we finished here? Should we continue
Wait,
this
before we
conversation?
leave,
Yeah.
he looks over at Catharin. So you're saying, do you remember what day this was?
2 days.
Day 3.
Yeah, 2 days ago.
2 or 3 days ago.
Afternoon? Evening?
Between drinks.
So it
But
could've
you
been
drink all
morning.
the time, Catharin.
Yeah.
Yes, but I was sober.
So afternoon.
Yes. I was getting dinner.
Afternoon of the 3rd day of the Revels.
It was after you guys got arrested.
Which time?
Maybe.
Well, yes, because that would make sense. Because I was in the office at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was there.
And you
Wait a
guys
minute.
Still kept on giving breakfast, so I was hungry. And I got something.
And
to
you
eat.
eventually made it to the alchemy shop. I remember this now. So, whoever looked like me would have known that I was in the magistrate's office. For the gods. So, let
The
me pose a
sisters knew where you
question
were.
to all of you. And this is now Jin, Gatharn, Medi, Omni. You guys are the last individuals in the magistrate's office. The main residence is being evacuated. All the activity is still going on. Let me pose a question. Seeing as how the master spy has been beaten by someone that I thought was quite simple and hired me for a very specific purpose, how many Thorvalds are there?
Currently?
2 that we know of.
Yeah.
I think a better question is, if Thorvald
3.
had access to this
there's-
magic,
Oh, because of the
The
magic.
sister
the
disguised herself
illusionary.
as Thorvald.
Yes,
During
but
the
you can
fight pits.
polymorph yourself into people that you're familiar with.
You asked how many
Or
Thorvalds there
creatures,
are. There's
or
3
Creatures,
Thorvalds.
yeah. Could one of the sisters have been a changeling? Because polymorph, you shouldn't be able to. That's for beasts or creatures. That's not for people.
Well, it depends on your magical understanding. There are magics out there that are capable of allowing you to shapeshift.
And it's not just a disguise
Arcana
self.
check, just so if Cathar knows about things like the hats of disguise and stuff like that.
Sure, give me an Arcana check.
Yeah, 'cause
Jen,
that
what are
would
you
be-
doing?
if Thorvald had access to this level of magic, why didn't his brother?
21.
Why isn't Trinity being cooked up in a vat right now, awaiting reincarnation?
Those are good questions. Correct, Gathan. There are devices that can create illusions. But once again, to Omni's point, you could reach through it, and by happenstance, if the light shifts or if you accidentally bump into a person within these containments or these illusionist abilities, it will appear to be an illusion.
And Jin fought the sister. That was one of the most insane illusions.
It was. I don't believe he fought an illusion. He fought someone with the capacity, the capability to look just like Thorvald. What if? Be fair.
To be fair.
I'm confused. I'm not really sure what to think at this point.
I heard 2 dice, so that was with advantage, and he's just nope. That was full stop. I'm
Yeah, it was full
confused.
stop. He's like,
Damn it.
I don't know. This is very confusing. I thought I had a grasp of understanding everything that he was doing and my expectations of what my responsibility were, but I feel like I'm missing something here. There is a hole here that I don't understand. Well,
It's not fun feeling completely used, is it?
I don't feel used.
Oh, you were used.
Maybe. And even if I
He's
was, I
been
certainly
multiple
can
steps
accept the
ahead.
responsibility of it.
He's been multiple steps ahead. He's had so many strings being pulled For all we know, Thorvald could be involved with the Lich that Yeti.
Excuse me? The what?
The Lich that's been here on the Revels. The one that's been
Looks at
underground,
Jin,
the one
looks
that's
at
been running around.
A lich.
Oh wow, he
Yeah,
really
you know
is
the-
not well
the
informed
Lich.
for a master spy.
Yeah.
Well, what?
Been running around, controlling the sisters.
Why would... He just seems to get lost in thought, and he wanders out of the magistrate's office towards the hallway.
To think I used to hold him in such high esteem, like he was like this big thing to do. Was not very knowledgeable.
I just thought he was a fucking Ponce.
Accurate.
So the four of you are in the magistrate's office. What do you want to do?
Roll it.
Did we do that last
Again,
time?
you
Yeah, we did.
rolled it heavily last time.
Yeah.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, it was where Thorvald's body was. You pulled apart the
Yeah, we
desk. You looked for the banner. You looked for... Yeah, this place had already been
Or
pretty...
Thorvald's dismembered freaking body is still there. Missing an arm.
Missing an arm, missing a head. I mean, he still has his member, so he's not dismembered. Okay.
Quick, get a pickle jar.
I was gonna say that's what's dangling from Gatharn's neck, except it's like
Like that movie Your Highness when he cuts off the Minotaur's dick and just wears that as a necklace.
yeah.
Oh,
That's
so
a statement piece
disturbing.
right there.
It's
Talking
so
jewelry.
disturbing.
Yep.
Can use the foreign skin like a coin pouch.
We start head to the ship. Head to the ship. You have anything else you want to do, Jin? Your hand's been in your bag this whole time.
He's been attuning.
I know.
Absolutely.
I've been
I
masturbating.
know.
Masturbating.
It's been like 2 hours. You good?
Fuck off.
Yeah, he's fine.
Cool.
I'd say it's been an hour now since you've had possession of the banner or of the flag, and you're attuned to it. There's, we'll say this much.
Infinite power.
Don't steal my thunder. As you all leave the magistrate's office and you go to pull your hand out of the messenger bag, feeling a sense of arcane attachment and attunement to it, there is a kind of awareness and a kind of influence that you get from the device.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the feeling that this thing is something that reveals itself when it wants to.
Same thing with the compass.
Come on,
We
play with
took
me.
the mall and we put that on our ship, right?
Fuck no, we can barely lift that shit.
I can lift it.
You just can't wield it.
I just can't wield it yet.
Yeah, you're gonna have a magical growth spurt.
No, I'm gonna cut the handle down to size.
Oh, well, there's always that, yeah.
We'll get
The gnome dude to do it.
I don't have my book with me. It's in the bus. Gromit.
Gnome dude.
To the ship.
So that's the other thing.
To the
that's on
ship.
that. Basically got like freaking chains around the freaking mall and he's like dragging that behind him.
Okay.
To the ship.
All right. You guys come, all
Scoop up
four
the
of you
hawk.
come out, including the hawk, as the five of you make your way out into the busy streets of the Revels. It is now,
Explosions, chaos, people running
It's
in
now
normal
lunchtime.
speed, and we're walking in
I mean,
slow motion.
technically, the fight was in the morning.
Yeah.
Hey! Hope for TTRPGs. Thank you so much for bouncing on in. Appreciate it. I would say at this point, being an Arthurian Gaming, thank you for the follow, much appreciated.
10 or 11 o'clock.
As all five of you spill out into the afternoon, the glow in the background is definitely the Northern Wharf is on fire. With the Northern Wharf on fire, all of you are now amongst crowded streets and alleyways going off in different directions. You begin to realize that the crowds are mostly people pushing, shoving. It's a little chaotic, but with the sudden kind of way that all of you had gained control and organization earlier on, you begin to realize that the remnants of Thorvald's guards are doing what they've been trained to do, and they're guiding these crowds towards the remaining wharfs. And you can, as you all stumble into the wharf areas, you can see where ships are now gradually pulling away from dock stanchions. You can see now off about 100 yards, or huh?
I'm also looking for a cat.
A cat on the way.
What's your passive?
14.
None that you can see.
I'm actively looking for a cat.
Agreed. None that you can see. As you reach the wharf area, you can see the Hawk out in the bay. Mm-hmm. It's further out away from the wharf, and this is when you begin to realize that there's now trail signs of smoke kind of curling up from the areas of the wharf that you know are on fire. And looking about this space, you can now see ships drifting, crowds of people making their way up onto ships. Everybody here is a practiced sailor or somebody that's used to this kind of expectation of themselves. You can see where Labash is currently up on the Storm's Eye, and now the entire crew of the Storm's Eye has prepared the ship. There's maybe 1 or 2 lashings that are holding it on to the dock bay to keep it there. Looking off, you can see Keth is part of the activity that's going on. You hear Labash, "Hurry up, let's go. Everybody's leaving. That fire's spreading fast. Hurry up!" And he's kind of like yelling in that direction where you, the Hawk, and the others are kind of now amongst the chaos of the wharf.
Where would the head of the dragon turtle be?
You haven't spent a whole lot of time investigating this area. You don't. Give me a history check for starters to see how much you would know about an ancient dragon turtle.
+2, that is 18.
18. Go ahead and give me a nature check as well. Hey, Hope, thanks for coming over. I appreciate it. Gem Time Games, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. What'd you get?
19.
19? I mean, looking around and kind of trying to get a feel, maybe the southern tip of the island, perhaps? You're not really entirely sure. The overall, I mean, this place is pretty massive. It's a square mile of surface.
And we're on the western side?
You are on the northwestern side. The flames are southeast, and the smoke is curling up from the back, but it's the buildings and the structures and the temporary spaces that have been kind of put in this area that are kind of on fire at this point. So what are you guys doing?
I yell for a Nixie. I'm calling for a Nixie. It's a water pixie.
Okay, give me a persuasion check with advantage.
That's a natural 20, so 19.
19? Because a vapor space begins to swirl right next to you. And you watch this small female pixie. What do you want? What?
Hey, cuz.
Why you? Oh, shit, it's you. I thought it was my... What do you want, Gatharn? I'm busy. Just
Hey, this fucking thing's still alive?
What the... Where are you?
I think we're on a dragon turtle.
What the fuck are you doing on a dragon turtle, you fucking idiot? You know those are dangerous.
Feasting, fighting, and fucking.
Oh, so you're just having a good time.
Yes.
Well, have you seen it? Is it just the shell?
I
I think it's just the shell. I can't imagine it would still be alive. It would have moved or something.
But
Media told you all the stuff about when she went downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
That
She went
was
down
flesh.
into the chambers.
It was like
the
fleshy.
honeycomb chambers of the shell. Yeah.
When she went downstairs into the dragon turtle shell. Yeah, so you have that information already.
Well, if it is still alive, tell it to go underwater. Like submerge.
What would make you think that I have the ability to talk to a dragon turtle?
I don't know. Maybe I can actually understand you. I don't fucking know.
You're fucking drunk, Gatharn. And the swirl
No, I'm not!
closes, and the pixie falls back inside.
I turned
Alright,
to
so if it is
Omni. I
alive
was
and
like,
she
oh, well,
can't
that's
convince
a.
it to fucking submerge, we should get the fuck out of here.
That was an interesting conversation. Who are you talking to, Gadar?
Maddie's
What's
like,
going on? Did we see any
you
of
call
that?
me weird?
Did we see all of that happen?
Oh yeah, because he's standing right there, and you watch as
So the
this
pixie like pulled open reality.
just pulled open this like
Little portal.
water like portal and had a conversation with Cuz, and then
That's-
disappeared.
That's your cousin,
Kind of.
fairy godfather, parent.
Literal fairy godfather.
Gotcha.
What was that?
Who the fuck knows? I start walking up the gangplank.
Yeah, we get on the ship.
The hawk immediately turns and follows up Jin, shaking his head like just.
We have no clue. What's going on.
This is great.
All of you are now on the ship.
The tiny little bits of Gatharn's backstory that sprinkle themselves in every once in a while are just like, what the hell?
Everyone's like, he's just a dumb barbarian. Wait, why is he pickling the head?
True. There's
Um,
that. Brackish is currently barking out, "You up there, get those yard arms straightened out. We're going to get out of here shortly." And you can see where Nala is kind of stacking crates, the last of the crates that have been brought on board. You can see Labash and Stitch and the others kind of shifting about. Do you want to be the last one on the ship going
Yeah,
up the gangway?
Captain's guards and the Hawk's men were the ones that brought all of the components and
Correct.
stuff to the. Okay, cool.
Correct. That has been stowed down below. But Omni, as you linger, watching Jin and the others make their way up the gangway, Medi as well, you hear, "Omni, Omni," from the shadows.
Look over my shoulder to where
And
the
you
voice is
look, and
coming
there's
from.
some crates and barrels and some nets that are kind of, and you see a familiar orc stick his head out. "Omni."
I go
Gronk.
and see what's up with Gronk.
And he kind of like pulls you lightly into the shadow. "I know where the sisters are. I couldn't get them in time before they tried to kill Gatharn in the tavern. I know where to go. I think I might know who they serve. But," and he hands you like a scroll and like a small messenger bag, "everything I've been able to gather is here. Don't get off of this place as soon as you possibly can." And as he says that to you, everybody on the ship feels a slosh. You and Gronk feel the very surface.
I told you it was alive! Oh,
Goes-
maybe.
"Oh, fuck." And he hands you everything, goes, as he begins to run, "I'll be in contact." And he's running down the pier and heading off into the distance. The flames are beginning to rise up in the background as they're getting stronger, and they're wisping into the center of the Revels. Everybody else just sees this massive amphibian head come out of the water, and it's now looking. Its mouth opens up. This great guttural spray of algae and foam comes
out the
out.
fire.
And you watch as this massive flipper, like maybe 300 feet in length, and this whole surface is beginning to shift and move. What are you guys doing?
Get my ass on the ship.
Hey, we
Start
got our
yelling out
distraction.
orders. Make way. Double time.
All you
let's
hear
go.
is you guys make it on. Holy fuck! And they're like looking at this huge beast of a head, and now you're watching panic. Just now, people
I
are
wave.
screaming. Now people are panicking as this.
You wave at the
You watch as the head kind of turns around and sees, and it almost like looks at the fire that's gaining up its backside, and its head plunges into the water. You watch as the tail end of the shell begins to lift. A mile-long surface is now lifting steadily up into the air. You feel your ship kind of detach away from the dock, and the ship is now beginning to kind of like move off, but the current is pulling it inwards as well. What do you guys want to do to kind of help get this thing going? Because looking at the currents, the way you're being pulled inwards, you're watching as a crest of wave and suction of vacuum of water is coalescing around this huge this like surface that's now gradually submerging underneath.
I'm going to pull a Pirates of the Caribbean.
You're going to jump into the mouth of the beast?
Fuck yes. No. Where did Medi say that the other shore, the Armada was waiting for us?
She said that she had overheard that about 2 to 3 miles off of the fire is coming up from the northern part of the Revels. They would be off 3 miles off the northern portion of the Revels. They're out there in the sea somewhere waiting for something. She didn't pick up on what that information was.
Captain, if you want my advice, we ride the Maelstrom and shoot out south.
I'll look to Nala real quick as navigator and just
and Nala, he's like just staring at this shit that's unfolding around, and he finally that could work. It's a good thing we're a small ship. And you watch as one of the other ships that doesn't quite make it away from the dock in time just gets sucked underneath the vacuum of water, and there's a spill back of a wave that kind of crests, and the wave slams in to the storm's eye. Everybody make deck saves for me to stay on your feet. I will roll for the crew. Okay.
16.
22.
Okay.
23 for Omni
Okay.
and
Medi has
27
well, she
for
has
Medi.
advantage too because she has spider climb, so she'd be
27
less
for
likely.
Medi.
But all of you manage to hold on. The wave slams in the side of the storm's eye, pushing it a little bit further out. But as the shell begins to submerge more, there's a vacuum of water now pulling you guys back towards
Control
the
water.
edge.
Jin, you have
Oh.
the
Yeah, I'm gonna cast
Yes,
control water
as
and
well.
redirect us out of the vacuum.
You guys watch as Jin races to the back of the ship, and he's standing there, and he's now focusing his spell. The control water has allowed you to stabilize the situation. You're not being pulled towards it, but you're not moving away from it either. The shell is submerging. It's almost like watching a massive building just kind of slowly sink alongside you at this point. You watch as 2 more ships get
Quickly as I
sucked
can.
underneath.
I'm going to unburden myself by putting everything in like the hold.
Okay, you run down, and you throw everything down in the hold.
I strip naked
Okay, throw off your kilt.
and I grab a lot of rope.
Okay, there's plenty of coils of rope on either side. You pick that up.
All right, I'm gonna run around and secure everyone with the bailing pin and all that other stuff.
Okay, that's
So
gonna
that
take
way-
some time, but okay.
I got a movement speed of 45, so I'm fast.
yeah.
We're
Small ship.
gonna say it's gonna take maybe about a minute or 2 for you to do that. It's not a large crew, not a large ship either. It's a sloop, so we'll say it'll take you a couple minutes to do that. Jin is currently stabilizing the ship. What do you want Medi and Omni to be doing while this is going on?
After that, I'm gonna go to the tiller wheel.
Okay.
I have the strength to freaking steer the ship, so that's
Okay.
what I'm gonna do.
So you're now at the tiller wheel after securing everyone. Nala's like, I mean, Gathon, I don't think we have time for this. Maybe later.
Shall I get you a box? Would you like me to describe it to you, or shall I get you a box? Yeah, Jin, you have the gloves of spider climb as well. So if there's
Cool.
a deck save or something, you should be able to hold on to something with advantage, perhaps, maybe.
Well, by all means, spill mechanics at me all
I'm
day
guessing.
long.
I'm guessing.
I'm doing the sensible thing. I'm tying us to the ship.
That's one activity that you're doing. Medi and Omni are the only 2 not focused on anything, as now the whole crew is lashed down. The Hawk and Nala and Brackish and Stitch and the others are all lashed to either sections of the center mast or railings and solid points of the ship that will keep them in space or lashed into those spots. You're now up at the tiller wheel. Are you lashing yourself to the tiller?
I'm lashing myself to not the tiller itself, but like a banister nearby.
Okay, so you're lashing yourself to that.
I'm looking at all of my spells, and it isn't until like, what is it, a sorcerer level 4 or 5 where we get like the wind controlling spells where it's
What
great.
is this level thing you speak of?
Yeah, I know.
Experience.
Yep.
They had a birthday. Also
Okay,
telling
so,
myself like in mental notes like gotta get that guy.
No, I'm
some-
also looking through all of
create
Medi's
more
spells as
beer.
well. So
Yeah, fair enough. Tick tock, tick tock.
Gavarn's laughing.
I can hear Vince typing.
Best Revels ever.
is prestidigitation anything strong enough to where any like gust of wind that would like clatter open a door or a window?
Not really. That would be more like thaumaturgy or something
Thaumaturgy,
like
okay,
that.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking of.
Prestidigitation is very minor in its use, like
Okay.
just very slight nudge and influential of activity.
Gotcha. Medi's holding on. Medi's holding. Actually, Medi's up in the crow's nest.
She'll make her way
And
up there
will
with
be-
ease because
yeah.
of spider. Well, give me acrobatics with advantage. I just want to make sure she doesn't
She'll
flub
be
it.
she'll be guiding, kind of like saying where other ships are kind of like going, and then also if any of the flippers are coming up or just anything that we might not be able to see from the
Okay.
deck height.
Fair
She'll be
enough.
guiding us out, making sure we have a clear view.
Okay.
She is formerly navigator. You said a deck save.
No, acrobatics.
Acrobatics.
She makes her way up the
Oh,
crows.
yeah. 27.
Okay, I just want to make sure she didn't completely flub it.
Oh wait, no, sorry. She doesn't have advantage on acrobatics.
No, he said she did.
Oh, she did.
Because of spider
Oh,
climb.
okay, yeah,
Because
27.
of spider climb. So she makes her way up and pulls into the crow's nest. The minute she gets in the crow's nest, she points off in the direction as the massive flipper is now recoiled out of the water and is beginning to plunge it harder into the water. You're watching the beginnings of a 5, 10,
Perfect.
15, 25-foot wave that's
I'm
now
going to
cresting.
start steering the ship.
So give me a sleight of hand for you as you're lashed to the banister and your naked Gnorc self is
Yep.
steering.
18.
18. You spin the wheel and cause what little drift of the ship you can create within the sloop to kind of lean and away into the base of the wave that is now forming. Jin, as you kind of are forming and controlling water, give me a sleight of hand check. I want to see if you can match to what Gatharn is currently doing from a steering perspective.
Oh no.
I dropped my dice. I like how you look down when you look.
18.
18. Realizing that Gatharn is using the force of this new wave that's cresting from the giant flipper, kind of forcing the water down, and the creature is now beginning to plunge deeper into the water and force more water backwards. All of you watch as a large ship gets consumed by the activity and disappears into the wake and the wave that's forming. And it's, but you're riding the base of this wave and it's forcing you out, but the crest of the wave is also pulling you up at the
Oh,
same time.
man.
But Jin is managing to keep that from happening right away, but you're listed. You're at an angle to where at some point you watch as Medi falls out of the crow's nest holding on. You're at about an 18-degree angle at the base of the wave that is now cresting. And the full form of the dragon turtle is beginning to submerge behind that crested wave.
Omni's going to.
The wave's going to get worse. You get the feeling that a whole lot of water is about to be forced up and out from this square mile creature that's about to completely submerge itself.
Omni's gonna put his hand or their hand on their chest and just focus and see if they can tap into
Marine layer.
marine layer. See what they can, if they can. What they believe the compass was capable of doing was controlling wind. So they're gonna see if they can tap into that.
It.
You good?
Give us that marine layer.
All of a sudden, a thick marine layer just comes out of Omni's ass.
Hey, you know what?
We're hidden, so we can't be hurt. The DM can't see
it's
us.
a marine layer of invulnerability. Yeah, so Omni's gonna tap into seeing what they feel the compass's capabilities are, if they can help, if it can help us in this situation, and can I roll like an insight or maybe an intelligence or some type of check to see if Omni realizes what Jin was doing? Like we saw them put the bag or the banner, the flag in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to roll something to see if I know what they were doing?
I mean,
because they have it. So you would assume that if they have it, they have.
What's your
the
passive
capabilities.
perception?
Passive perception is 14.
I mean, you would have no like pertinent knowledge of what he was doing with it, other than he jammed it in a bag and the bag was on his shoulder.
But he has it.
Maybe he has it, as far as you know. He has it, yeah.
Because at this point, Omni just still believes that they should be able to find any ship and control the winds with these two objects and items.
Theory.
That's the theory and
that's the
theory.
theory.
The lore.
Well, and that was also based on the fact that Tharivol told you that he had ordered Maximilian to stage all of that lore, to stage that theory, so that if anyone was spying on Tharivol and the others, it was a way of drawing out those spies, and that's how they drew out the sisters.
But we also got that information from other people as well, as far as like controlling winds and all that.
Other
stuff.
mythos,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So
You get the feeling that Maximilian and Tharivol were utilizing superstition to create a false lore that they then used to draw out the sisters. Whether or not that false lore they created was based on false superstition, that you still don't know.
Right.
But clinging on to the hard metal and wood surface of the compass, there's no immediate reaction from it whatsoever. There's no, that it could take an hour or more sometimes of steady, calm study to really attune to anything that might be magical in nature. But there's nothing reacting from your sense of concern. Just the loud noise of a rising wave that's now cresting some 30 feet above you, and Jin is doing his best to maintain the ship's list along the base of this wave that's cresting. The back end of a 1 square mile ancient dragon turtle is now descending beneath the waves because its whole, back end of the shell was on fire from all the substrata and surface dwellings that were on fire. It's chaos. There's ships doing their best to get away. Some do, some don't. Meanwhile, off in the distance, you can see the Hawk, just the massive 7-tiered galley just lingering out there as you're watching water just gradually be drawn back into this wave that's forming as this creature is digging deeper and submerging deeper into the water.
Give myself bolstering magic.
Okay.
Expeditious retreat, if upcast. No, that doesn't upcast. That's only on self. That can't be on a vehicle, can it?
Correct.
Okay.
The Hawk's just yelling through the roar of the wave. What are we doing?
Well, Omni's yelling out all of the orders for everybody to do their regular
Yeah, they're
ship
mostly
stuff.
lashed down.
And
Gatharna's lashed them all down at this point. The whole crew is lashed to the ship. Jin is maintaining and managing the bare essentials of keeping you guys from being sucked up into the lip of the wave that's cresting and forming. And Gatharna is steering and trying to maintain it as Captain Omni's trying to figure out what to do. Jin, give me another sleight of hand. Gatharna, give me another sleight of hand as you're maintaining this current way that the ship is keeping from being sucked up into the crest of the wave.
Dirty 20.
Okay.
You said sleight of hand?
Mm-hmm.
19.
19. Gatharan, give me athletics with advantage as you feel the ship get pulled up slightly.
Come on, little man.
19 plus 3 plus 7. 29.
29. You lose a little bit of the list up into a 20-degree list now, but you prevented it from really getting, like, you kept that tiller strong and allowed Jin to maintain that water control that he has. How long does that last for you, Jin, or do you have to burn through slots?
10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Dope.
I will say you're currently still on your 10-minute trajectory at this point because this is all happening so quickly.
Omni's going to pray. Well, to the Stormlord specifically, because this seems like a storm type of event that they might be able to help with. And if there is time to do so,
Captain, help!
If this is in the,
Why are you standing there?
if he's taking 10 minutes to be able to control the water in that regard,
Well, it's not a matter of taking 10 minutes to control it.
No, he
it's
has
until the
10
wave
minutes that he
crashes.
can. Right.
So he's.
how long does it look like till the wave crashes?
Give me a survival check.
Destroy the water.
16.
Yeah, it's cresting.
Destroy
it's now
10 gallons
cresting
of
at
that.
about 35 feet.
millions of gallons of
It's maybe
water.
seconds away from cresting over and down into where the ship currently is.
Do I see a path where basically
Give me perception.
I can go past it and over the crest before it crests?
Give me a perception check.
Perfect storm style, without the flipping over and
With-
dying.
With
That's a
Makiman?
30-20.
Give me survival with advantage.
My boy's wicked smart.
That is 22.
Wicked smart. Gatha's from Southie. He's wicked smart. What'd you get?
22.
22. As you're on the tiller and you're watching Jin control everything, everybody's lashed down. Everyone's kind of yelling in Omni's direction. And there's a sense of panic, but not chaos, right? People are like reacting to the situation. Omni, you're watching the wave begin to crest. You see a green trail, a break. Something has swum up and over on the other side of this 25, 30 foot wave that's breaking over. And there's a slight opportunity here. There's a space.
I point to it. We're going there.
You guys all feel the ship suddenly list hard to port. And it swings out. The force of the wave, Jin, this causes you to have to redirect how you're controlling water. Give me a fresh sleight of hand check as you're kind of like trying to figure out how to do this.
21.
21.
This way the crew is also like adjusting the sails and all that stuff. So where we're
No,
going.
they're lashed down. You tied down the crew.
No, like I wrapped around a rope around their waist,
Okay.
tied them to a banister. If it falls, they won't go overboard.
Okay, but they're going to be
So they'll
operating
still be able to move.
They're limited to their movement, however, based on what they see.
Maybe like 10
So-
feet or something.
But basically, they
Gotcha.
knew where
okay,
they were
that makes more
supposed to
sense.
be.
I was like, why are you like siren
I'm not-
style lashing people to
No.
mast?
It's like
I'm
that's what the
imagining they're
bailing
all like
pins.
this.
That's what the
Go
bailing
guys,
pins are
go!
for.
You got this.
So they're all lashed to the bailing pins on the
Okay,
center
the
mast.
bailing pins are keeping them on deck in case they get washed overboard from the
Yeah.
waves. Gotcha. Okay, that makes more
So
sense.
they could still move about in like certain portions
So
of the
we'll
area.
say, based on the way you've steered, they're now climbing up into the sails and the yardarms, trying to control how the sails are going. All of you hear Medi scream and yell as the back end of the massive 1 square mile surface comes up and dips. The wave is now cresting. You feel the storm's eye kind of run along, get pushed sideways, up, over. It's starting to crest. Anything you want to do to kind of help get this thing over that edge?
Do I feel like I need to still control the water to keep us from
You
not-
feel like you need to really focus on it at this point.
I'm
That this
going
is the
to-
only thing that's giving it just enough momentum to try to make it over this crest at this point.
How
You're on
tall
your own,
is-
clowns.
How tall is the wave?
It's now cresting at 30 feet. You guys are on a 3-deck sloop, so main deck, common deck, and then the cargo deck below. So you're roughly 15 feet, 20 feet. so for you, this is probably closer to a 40 or 50 foot wave, because being on deck, this thing is hovering 30 feet over you, and it's beginning to crest and crash, and it's beginning to, the ship is like, the two are about to be combined at this point. It's not that anything you do will change anything. I'm just giving you an opportunity if there's anything that you want to do. There's a bit of fatality going on here. There's a little bit of fatalism. You're either going to make it or you're not going to make it at this point.
Well, I don't have time to cast Augury. Destroy water only does up to 10 gallons.
Yeah.
So that's pointless. I was going to try and like part open like a chunk for us to sail through, but when it says when you upcast it, it gives an extended area of 40 feet.
Right.
So that's like for dispelling or getting rid of fog or. When,
Can he
like,
panic
water
attune to my
falls.
necklace?
Panic attune?
Yeah, just
Is
rush
that a
the
new
attunement
mechanic
process.
You just thought up of?
Yeah.
Additional gallons of water or the
Give him
sun.
a roll, damn it.
I'll tell you what level is...
Oh, no. So at higher levels, when you cast a spell,
You can
second
displace
level or
more
higher,
water,
you
right?
create or destroy an additional 10
Yeah,
gallons
it's like
of water.
10.
So it would be 30 gallons at 30.
Oh, of a 1,000,000 gallon wave? Oh my god, put that dent in there.
That's it.
Hey, so
Fuck
one
that-
of the
fuck
like
that wave up.
theories for like getting a meteorite not to hit Earth is to shoot it with a bunch of paintballs, because the light from the solar radiation
And this
will
is why
deflect
Gatharn
it
is
just
not
enough.
captain.
So a small displacement of water can still cause enough
tell you,
of an issue
what's
to
your highest-
displace us where we need
What's
to
your
go.
highest spell slot? Omni?
Third.
Third level? How many do you have? 2? I will say you can upcast and burn both those third level spell slots to displace 60 feet of water, which may help you guys crest over the wave. Like you're displacing just enough water to allow the prow of the ship to crest and crash through
So
to the
I'll
other
do
side.
that twice,
Okay.
and then Omni will
Pray.
meta magic, use their sorcery points, use all 3 of those to
Okay.
get that spell slot back
Fair enough.
and do it again
Okay.
for a third time.
Gatharn, athletics first, as you feel the ship, the prow, lift over like it's about to crest.
6 there. So that is 16 plus 7 plus 2, 25.
25?
Oh, check this out.
Okay.
Tempestuous magic. Anytime I cast a spell of first level or higher, a gust of air surrounds me and I could fly up to 10 feet. But if I'm close to the center of the mast, could that gust of wind provide us a little bit more of a push? Basically 3 times since I used.
Just
3 of
give
the
us
slots.
anything, man. We're pulling
Yeah,
at a.
we'll say.
We're
So
pulling
you
out all
rolled
the
it. So
stops.
whatever
Yeah.
you were doing was going to give him advantage, but because you rolled a 25 on your athletics, you now have advantage on your sleight of hand. We'll hold his advantage check in reserve in case Jin needs it.
You.
Ooh, nice. So that is 22.
Yeah. So this is a weird experience for you because Jin is behind you because you're up at the helm, right at the back of the ship. You're watching as the prow is up almost vertical to you and cresting over the wave, right? So you and Jin are now pivoted up like this, right? So the
Tipping
prow
down.
makes it over. You guys are now 80 degrees listed straight down as you're about to drop down into the backside of this now 40-foot wave because you're on the backside of its crest. And being on the backside of the crest, you could see Medi holding onto the crow's
Just like
nest.
out in front of us.
Yeah,
tipped down.
she's like out in front. Jin, now that the rear of the ship is up, there's no use for your ability, and you just latch on to the banister as hard as you can, like hold on to the railing. So give me athletics to see how well you can hold on to that railing.
With your advantage because of your spider gloves.
That'd be more dexterous than athletic.
It's for climbing though.
Well, I'm gonna disappear into the ocean, guys.
What'd you get?
19 plus 1.
20.
Dirty 20.
Yeah, I gave it a DC of 20. You watch as the back end of the water almost crests over and like pulls him, and it knocks him on his feet, and then the wake of the water just kind of slams him into the railing where he holds on again. He's now waterlogged, but take 6 points of bludgeoning damage, Jin, from the effect of being slammed into the railing. But you did save, so you can have it to 3. Gatharn, you're holding on.
And laughing like a maniac.
Yeah,
This
you're,
is awesome.
you're completely Forrest Gump at this point with the hurricane unleashed.
Yep.
With you being where you are,
Next to the mast.
yeah, next to the mast, I'll say in your particular situation, with the gust of wind and the way you controlled the water coming over, it's a stabilizing effect.
Cool.
But as you're now coming down the backside, you've now got to... The tiller is up and out of the water. Anything you do until that tiller makes it back down into the water on the backside. So as you crest and come down, you feel the ship finally beginning to settle into the backside of the wave. The challenge you have now is steering it so that the ship doesn't bottom out on the backside of the wave and like settle flat versus riding the remains of the backside of the wave. So with his help, now I need another sleight of hand for your piloting skills. With advantage because Omni has kind of helped ease over the crest of the wave as opposed to just a sudden plummet from height.
That is a 23.
23. You all feel like a zero gravity effect for just a moment as the entire storm's eye. But at the last minute, you swing over the helm and you're like almost like surfing the backside of this cresting wave, and then as the ship just kind of evenly settles on the backside, and you watch as the backside of the wave just keeps going until the energy slightly diminishes, and as it diminishes slightly, you can see the massive ships out further kind of get hit by these rogue waves.
So that's going north, right?
Yeah.
Towards the Armada, right?
Yeah. Pretty much. It may lose some of its energy because it's not a true tidal wave kind of situation, but there's also a possibility the energy might pick up again as it either hits shallow or deeper points of the ocean's surface.
What's the weather like?
The weather right now, it's actually surprisingly calm. There's not a lot of cloud cover.
Oh, it's not frightful?
Huh?
The weather outside is frightful.
Thank you.
I don't do Christmas music. It never changes. No, because if it's calm, and then now there's nowhere you got storm waves hitting you, you're not prepared for it.
Yeah, they don't have...
It's
any
not,
kind
yeah,
of
it's not
signal,
windy by any stretch. There's a breeze.
But they're not going to
but-
be alerted until it's
Expecting giant waves suddenly hitting them.
As you watch the last of the surface crest around the rear portion of this ancient dragon turtle, there's kind of like a boilingness of the water. You're watching as the energy of the wave is receding further and further north away. You can now make out 2, 3, 4 dozen ships. There's debris everywhere out in the water from the entireness of the Revels just being scraped clean off the back of this creature. And then off in the distance, after a few minutes of this all kind of settling, you watch. And then this massive turtle's shell just disappearing into the horizon. The rush of water coming off of it. And then the energy of the wave finally disappears over the horizon. It's now, I would say it's late afternoon. There's at least 2-3 dozen ships nearby. You can see the Hawk not more than maybe 1,000, 2,000 feet off the port bow. Things kind of settle down a bit. Quiet. Medi's like holding on to the crow's nest, looking down and around. The Hawk is like just sheet white. All the other crew are just like... You watch shit just heaves, like just vomits over the side of the railing.
Well, you said I was waterlogged, right? So it's not.
Yeah,
water.
yeah.
It's just forced expulsion of the seawater.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look for Clark.
Okay.
Hey, take the helm. I gotta do something. and I'm gonna go get a bottle of rum.
You're gonna look for Clark?
I'm pretty sure I see him. I'm just telling him to grab the helm.
Oh,
I'm gonna
gotcha.
go and grab a bottle of rum.
Yeah, I can.
You
show
said
me.
Clark, but I thought Gronk.
Yeah.
No.
I got the names mixed in my head. Yeah. Omni's gonna go into the. Omni's gonna
Medi climbs down from the
have
crow's
Medi
nest, looks
bring-
around, climbs back up into the crow's nest.
Omni's
Clark
gonna
is
go-
like holding onto the helm. Nala and Labash and Brackish are getting the rest of the crew back, kind of like on their feet. They're untying the pins, like issuing out orders, getting the last of the cargo down below. The deck is just waterlogged from the kind of cresting and coming down the other side. Where are you? You decide to go down?
I'm getting a bottle of rum.
So you go down into the cargo hold. Give me a deck save as you make it down into the second deck.
Second dick.
Dick deck.
Dick deck. 19.
19. The last minute as you step down below, you watch as a panel of lumber like splits off to the side right at the water line, and a spray of water crashes into you for 2 points of bludgeoning damage as the plank and the lumber hit you as you begin to realize the ship is now taking on water.
All right, I yell that up.
I scramble down there.
The bell is being rung. You watch as at least 2 or 3 of the crew are scrambling. Jin, you're scrambling down there as well. You can hear that the warning bell's been rung, that the ship is currently taking on water.
I will do what I did before, and I'll shape water to make an ice plug on the outside,
Okay.
so we can start doing repair work on the inside.
Okay, you guys watch as Jin hangs over the side. You're kind of leaning over, and you see at the water line where this piece of fractured plank is, and you seal it. It's frozen. Those of you on the inside can see the ice form on the interior of the hull. You watch as the crew is now getting tarps and oil, or tar, getting tar and hammer and nail, and they immediately jam that plank in there, and they're just patching and working as hard and as fast as they can. Do you want to help them in any way? Because
Yeah, I'll use my carpenter tools.
Yeah, but you cast that plug, so you can actually come back down because you don't need to focus on it. And we'll say we'll give him advantage. So go ahead and give me performance with advantage, Jen.
Okay, I will. But it said my background is carpenter (parentheses shipwright).
Yep.
I have a feature set called "I'll patch it," provided you have carpenter tools and wood.
Okay.
You can perform repairs on a water vehicle. When you
Okay.
use this ability, you restore a number of hit points to the hull of a water vehicle equal to 5 times your proficiency mod. The
Okay.
vehicle cannot be patched by you in this way again until after it has been pulled ashore and fully repaired.
What's your current proficiency?
3.
Modifier? 3? So you give the hull 15 points back immediately, which means you don't have to roll. But with your guidance and assistance, they successfully patch this waterline hole. It's about 3 feet long, maybe 18 inches in height, and they managed to successfully patch it without any check. The ship has 15 hit points back, so the hole has been restabilized at this point.
I'm looking.
Good job, Crooked Face, Stitches, Sisters. Good work.
So, yeah, with squat nimbleness and all that, I'm moving through the whole.
Trying to see if there's other damage points as well.
Yeah.
Give me
No,
investigation.
I'm trying to find the rum.
That too.
Eventually. Captain Omni, what are you doing at this point? Medi's up in the crow's nest, probably doing her typical keeping an eye on things.
Being as useful as ever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have Medi come down and bring
She scales
Keth
down.
and the Hawk into the captain's quarters.
17.
17. The rest of the hull looks okay. It might be that when you crested over this part of the hull, probably since at the center, it just, and this loose plank just shattered and broke.
Like the keel basically bent a little.
Yeah, and this gave way. So you get the feeling that this might have been the only weakness that was involved in the hull.
Part of
And
the old ship.
yeah, I mean, it probably still could use some maintenance at some point. But from your quick investigation, no obvious damage or potential damage that you can see. A few minutes later, after you make your way into a very debris-strewn interior of the captain's quarters. You're like picking shit up off the ground. I mean, cabinets are listed over, and you're trying to put everything back together. There's a knock at your door. The door opens up. Both Keth and the Hawk come into the space, and Medi just kind of closes the door and lingers behind, leaning up against the door. Gatharn is busy in the interior of the ship. Jin is like assisting with the final bit of repairs. You, however, are alone with Medi, the Hawk, and Keth in a very messy, destroyed captain's quarters.
If there are chairs, I'll set them up so that Keth and the Hawk have a place to sit.
Okay.
And we'll kind of like sit one leg up on the opposite side of like the desk, if there's a desk in there, and cast Zone of Truth. And
Which is wisdom save, correct?
No, charisma. And I'm actually going to tell them that I'm casting it. I'm going to say, we need to have an honest conversation. Should you try and deceive us in this moment, you will be cast aside and killed. There is no time for games. We need honest, truthful answers. And we're going to cast a spell in order to make sure that that's happening.
Okay.
Because Omni's not about like doing stuff against their
Fair
will.
enough.
He wants them to know that like he wants to have this conversation. They want to have this conversation, and they want to be truthful about it. And by telling them about that, that is Omni's way of showing their cards of I will be honest with you. This is your time where you need to be honest with us.
The Zone of Truth pulses out. Go ahead and give me persuasion with advantage because you are kind of explaining it this way.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. Persuasion. I forget. I have a +8, so that's a 23.
23. They both kind of look at each other awkwardly.
And it's a charisma save of 16.
Yeah, I've already rolled that.
Okay.
They look at each other awkwardly and look at you, and you watch as Keth kind of sits in the chair, kind of crosses her ankles and folds her hands, and she just kind of looks up at you. And you watch as the Hawk kind of nods in your direction with a bit of respect and kind of leans up against one of the bookcases that is tilted, not quite willing to sit down. Keeping one cautious eye on Medi, and the Hawk looks across. Very well. Accept your invitation. Well, I don't know what I can offer, but I'll do my best, as Keth kind of responds.
So on a failed save, which I don't know if they can willingly fail or not, but they can't speak a deliberate lie while in the 15-foot radius, and I'm pretty sure this room is not bigger than 15 feet.
Yeah, it's a pretty small space that they're in right now. You watch as Medi carefully steps away from the very edge of the barrier of what you would perceive the effect to be.
I'll look to Keth and just simply ask, who do you work for? Who are you indebted to?
I work for him. She points at the Hawk.
I'll look over to the Hawk.
I can assure you, Omni, she doesn't work for me. Whoever took on my form is who she believes she works for.
I'll continue to ask Keth a bunch of questions of what is your mission?
I was told by the Hawk to keep an eye on Thorvald, to study and make sure he wasn't getting into any trouble, making acquisitions that looked unusual. Was he purchasing or buying items of certain nature? Something about his alchemic and natural studies. And I was told to keep an eye out for him procuring anything related to the effects of doppelganger activity. That's what I was told to keep an eye out. That's why I became a scribe for him. That's why he put me there. The Hawk just comes up to his chin, leans in. I had no idea of his activities. Why would I warrant such questions? Doesn't make any sense.
So Omni would also know if either of them fail or do not fail their save in Zone of Truth.
They both failed. There is plenty of willingness at this point, mostly brought on by confusion.
Cool. That's good. You gotta keep them guessing. Omni will just kind of nod their head and take a deep breath and just look Kath right in the eyes and say, "Did you kill Thorvald?"
She takes a deep breath and she looks at you, and with a very deep confusion on her face, I was in Thorvald's office. He was waiting for someone. I was taking notes. He was discussing thoughts and practices of transmutation of certain structures and organics. And he was having me take notes as he was reading from a book. I remember the door opening. He looked surprised. He was about to say something. And then I remember being at the tavern with Gathan. I don't remember what happened after that. I have no memory. I have no recollection of that. But I know something happened. I just don't know what it was. I felt like it was something ripped from me of memory. Almost like a waking dream to a certain point. Almost like an understanding something definitely happened, but I'm sorry, Captain, I don't remember. I wish I could. It's been bothering me all day, all morning. It's been bothering me.
We'll look to the hawk and say, "Modify memory."
It's possible. Some magics, if forced to do things, would be followed up with the idea of erasing your steps.
Possession?
Possession could cause damage and trauma. You mentioned earlier when we were organizing ourselves, you mentioned something in regards to a lich, did you not?
Yeah. And Medi will
Yeah,
step forward and
but he
this
cautiously
is way more Medi's realm.
Yeah, but he cautiously looks at Medi and then looks back to you. Are you aware of what Medi is?
She's a very accomplished sailor. A friend. Loyal.
She's a Dampier.
We always forget that one.
Certain things of her type, as they gain in power, they're attracted to things of power. It's quite possible our young Keth here has been glamored. She has been purposely forced to do something, and then forced to forget what she had done. And then he leans very closely into your ear. Look at her fingers. There's crimson rusted kind of at the fingernail tips. And she quickly kind of looks at her fingers, kind of semi-overhearing the conversation, and this look of just panic and concern.
Medi being a blood expert and already having some of Thorvald's
You watch
blood.
as she walks over, grabs Keth by the wrist, and looks at you, kind of nods. And that's where we're going to finish today. Our 3 hours is up, and we have another game starting here in about an hour and 10 minutes, as the Absent Throne will be back shortly in a little over an hour with our all-in-studio group, but I needed a little time to do some prep. I'm also very snacky. I'm kind of hungry. And it's been a day. It's been a day. They're finally off the Revels, which means it's a milestone.
Yeah.
What do we do with milestones?
Skip them in the sea.
We level up. So obviously off the next rest, you guys will have a level up, and we'll move on from there. So, hey everybody, thanks for coming by. Thanks Hope for rating us, very appreciative. Thanks Gem Time Games and Arthurian Gaming for following, much appreciated. Yeah.
Because it's kind of just trivial.
Okay.
Once Gatharn finds the bottle of rum, he's gonna go to the fucking top and go, "Here you go, cousin," and fucking throws it to him. Thanks.
Fair enough. We can resolve that because I like playing with the Fae. The Fae are fun. So, hey, everything you need to know about us is down below. If you don't know who Hope for TTRPG is, I highly recommend you go check them out. Also, if you are not familiar with Arthurian Gaming, go check them out as well. Lots of good content at Arthurian Gaming and lots of helpful knowledge on how to get your stream space, creator space, organized out into the social space. All of that is out there. So you can find Hope down below in our abouts. I believe I am still following Arthurian Gaming. Whenever I get a chance, I check out his library to see what he's been talking about. So please hang out or come back in the next couple hours. We'll have our Absent Throne Session 1 of a brand new homebrew campaign that I've been working on for a couple weeks and kind of theoretically working on for many years for something I've been wanting to try to accomplish for a very long time. So
kind of super really into it.
Yeah. So thanks everybody for coming out. We really do appreciate it, and we'll see you guys all in a little bit. See you guys. Thanks everybody. Oh,
Bye.
and stay safe, be kind, play a game. It's important to your mental health, I assure you.
And it's
see you
fun.
guys.
Jeez.
And it's fun.